And welcome back, everybody. It is the moment that you and we and everybody has been waiting for. The grand final here, the Midseason Madness Tournament. We have the San Francisco Shock going up against the LA Gladiators, who have persevered, albeit through a brief run in the lower bracket. Now we get a rematch of the upper final. I'm Ilios. I'm joined as always by Avril, and we'll be guiding you through this best-of-7 series.
6 days to get here, 12 teams from across the world, and we finally reached the top two on this bracket final rematch here for both of our squads, the LA Gladiators and the San Francisco Shock themselves, who are the most decorated franchise in the Overwatch League's history. 3 stage titles, 2 championships, looking to add 1 more to the tally now. LA Gladiators are defending champions from the kick-off clash. They come through for the lower bracket, defeating the Atlanta Reign, now looking for revenge in our finals.
It was a 3-2 last time that these guys did clash, and it wasn't very long ago either, so very well could have a repeat of that in this first of 4 series. I, of course, am hoping for that. Fingers crossed that this one can go the distance. Show me a 4-3 scoreline. Don't care who walks away victorious at the end of it all. Yep. I just want to see some back and forth action between the 2 best teams in the Overwatch League right now. Here's the starting 5 for the side of the Gladiators, who we did just get to see take down the Reign. It's going to be Funny Astro starting on support. Patty Pen in over Ons.
Standard 5 coming on through. Funny Astro has been a critical player on this team, winning them a handful of maps. The comebacks onto Coliseum, that's happened twice now. It is uncanny what the LA Gladiators can do on that map. Look out for that one a little bit later on. I guarantee it'll be on the docket, probably map number 4. Our 7-map series today, again, hoping that it does indeed go the distance. The LA Gladiators, from my little look into their team, map drafting strategy should be after map number 1 if they do win. It should be Shock going towards Eichenwalde, otherwise Gladiators looking to play mid-town. They want to go towards Gibraltar as well, avoiding Circuit Royale. That to me is going to be a key swing map in this particular series. Shock looked fantastic on Circuit Royale. Gladiators not so much. Coliseum though is a map that both teams have been proficient on, but again, I highlight the Gladiators. Their ability to make comebacks on that map is absolutely wild.
Well, here's the starting 5 for the side of the San Francisco Shock. Nothing too surprising, obviously, here, as we have Sam Proper, Mikey, Finn, and Violet to kick things off in this series. Violet has been guiding these rookies to a victory. We'll just have to see if they can close this one out. Obviously, fell shy of the mark during the kickoff clash, did get knocked down, did get eliminated by, I believe, the Dallas Fuel, but now they are looking so much more comfortable in the current meta.
You know, these players have certainly matured, and we get to the stage where Violet and the rookies are coming into championship caliber play. For so many of these young players, it will be their first time on the international stage against 12 teams over the course of 6 days. Again, now finally in that finals. They've done so without dropping a single match. In fact, the count is currently correct. This is a 9-match win streak for the San Francisco Shock. They have not dropped a single series for 9 matches in a row. The last time they lost was versus the Dallas Fuel in the mid-season, not rather the kickoff clash tournament stage in Texas that you sort of mentioned there. Since then, completely flawless.
And I mean, could you expect really any other organization to be able to pull this off? This is, of course, the team that back in 2019 pulled off the golden stage as it had to be, made. We had to invent that title for them because they didn't drop a single series throughout an entire stage. They have been looking absolutely incredible, and one of the biggest matchups that I'm so excited to see once more is going to be Proper versus Kevster. These guys are, of course, on opposite sides of the rooms. There's going to be smack talk flying from opposite sides. You can see Finn.
It's already happening.
That right there, and yeah, it has begun, and I can't wait to see what it looks like as well when we actually get into game, because this is already spicing up.
Absolutely. Patapan's trying to hear what's going on the other side, or maybe it's his own coaches, but in either case, look, like you mentioned, Kevster versus Proper, they'll be in the entire way through. Neither of these players will be subbed out for the majority of the 7 maps, or all of the 7 maps. Both top-tier players, both gunning for an MVP award. And I do believe the results of this tournament, the results of this particular matchup will heavily sway fan favor, personality flavor towards who is the top dog, who has got that dog in them to get those awards. But here we are, 7 maps on board. First map choice being selected by the San Francisco Shock, going towards Ilios, a very even map for both teams. If this was the Gladiators selecting their first map, I strongly believe it would also be Ilios. So, not necessarily favoring either team here, but we do get an early look from Mikey and Sam before we get Kaluj in for the next map. And this is where the Glads also get to start with Funny Astro. So, something that they want to do as much as possible this series.
Ready for battle.
Well, As you can see there, for all the marbles just yesterday, where they squared off, went all the way to 5 Gladiators, narrowly missing out. Having that auto seed forward into the grand finals, the Shock did manage to maintain that match win streak. We have the number 1, number 2 seeds coming into this event now, squaring off.
All to play for Ilios. LA Gladiators looking to defend their title from the kick-off clash to the San Francisco Shock. Back on top of the world. Map number 1 going to be Ilios. Well, it is Reiner Winston versus Mikey Winston as well. No ball today. Finally coming through on the Lucio, Sam on the Echo as expected, but watch out for the 2 traces, Proper and Kipster.
Definitely the ones to keep our eyes peeled on. Pattypan, of course, on this very map, not quite this sub-map, was able to have an immense amount of impact and helping to gain a victory with that Genji, but Proper, he's drawn first blood, shutting down Kepster first and foremost. Up over the top goes Sam, for some sticky bombs over towards Shu. Not going to be able to find that execute for now, but down a member of the Gladiators. Going to have to take this a little bit slowly. They do manage to get some corner pressure here applied to the point to keep this contested and stop the Shock from being able to gain some free percentage off the rim. Dive in, cap come through from Mikey, from Sam, moving their way through the cap, nearly there. They can just clear the point for a brief moment. They'll be able to grab it, and they do. Proper starts sneaking around the back lines. They've noted him, exactly where he's going to be playing through, but in the meantime, a couple people are focused in. Over towards Proper, the supports in particular. Reiner goes down now. Pattypan gonna get cleaned up as well, so the Shock winning out handily in the fight.
Really good defense by Gladiators to at least hold on to the point for some time before the Shock could actually get a cap that's going to slow down progress for the Shock. But in the other stage as well, you see Gladiators coming back in with a full 5 up. The Kipster gets first blooded. They still cannot get a frag on board. Reiner falls over. And the LA Gladiators, unfortunately, are going to lose that cap. 30% and counting now for Shock. Proper has the first pulse bomb, the first ultimate of the game. Finn nearly on that nano as well.
Dash to the side. Proper going to be going low. The recall still available. Once he's got to hold on to it, but as he dashes, Pattypan, he does very much the same. Cuts him down to size. It's very much a fight victory here for the side of the Gladiators. They clean up 3 players. Mikey as well, sliver of HP, going to make his exit. Sam trying to dash and duck around here on the point, build up towards that duplicate. Won't be allowed to do so. It's a clean 50% established for the Shock as Gladiators take charge.
Very aggressive there as well. I mean, Gladiators, you just see from Proper's POV, Reiner came out of nowhere. The instant damage, the burst, the Proper takes him down. No early pulse bomb advantages anymore. Kipster's caught up now. Gladiators with the Lucio in hand, keeping the pace as quick as possible. Both nanos online. Both nanos likely to go towards the Winston players, building up towards those primals. Sam as well looking for the dupe.
Sound barrier also about to be here for the side of the Gladiators, which can be instrumental in them holding this point, trying to catch up already. Getting it up to 30% as the nano goes out of the Mikey. He's going to be taking a nap. Proper does manage to find Funny Astro. Traded, but now no support from the side of the Gladiators. A great pulse bomb out. Knocks them both down. Turns his sights over to Kevster. Forces the recall. Goes back up to full HP as Pattypan's just trying to make his way out. But Mikey manages to pursue deep enough to get the kill here onto the enemy Genji. Cleanup continuing to come through as Reiner is in desperate need of some healing here from his squad that is just now rejoining. The Shock, they occupy the point. As the Gladiators hit 50%, the Shock go ahead and retake it.
Yes, 3 ultimates traded for 3 there, but the important thing that we did see is despite Mikey getting slipped and Reiner not eating a sleep dart, it's Proper that goes off, finding the value, double support line kills as well. He got both Funny Astro and Shu. Paddy looking to respond now, working towards that plate. He has to be available. He has an extra HP.
He's a little bit longer to build it up, but does manage to find Mikey, getting that killing blow with the melee hit at the very end. Now the blade going to be pulled through, dashes across, finds Finn, finds Sam, looks for a little bit more. Violet keeps him at an arm's length and will force him to retreat, but Violet himself is still in a precarious position. Does come out on top, all things considered, but the Gladiators are once more in control, keeping things nice and even.
Yeah, Sound Barrier being traded for Rally there, and LA Gladiators will take that window of opportunity where the Sound Barrier is more effective to get those kills in. Fight is still continuing with a bit of a skirmish happening here on the front lines. Gladiators not willing to give this one up. Obviously, the lead Proper with the biggest stick on to shoot.
And now he's looking for Funny Astro. Can he get the 2 for 1 again? No, he cannot. So managed to hound him down, but the flip is getting ready to come through once more for the San Francisco Shock as the cleanup is there. Kepster the last one to fall. 2% shy of tying it once more, but the Shock now ticking up last fight territory here for the Gladiators.
Yeah, so many kills coming through from Proper as well, specifically 6 so far. Most of them have been pulse bomb kills. We're heading towards the 90% mark. Pattypan coming back over towards a Sombra. There's not a lot of great targets to hack. Ideally, you get Proper or Sam. That 1 second window could be lethal if they can land the damage in time. But this is desperation for Glads.
We get the point touch. They force out the overtime. Pattypan around the back. He's looking for a target. Saw Proper hovering low. Has a hack out of the Mikey, just kind of using him as an old battery as you typically do as a Sombra, but the sleep is absolutely massive. And Proper, it's right in on top, and the kill comes through. Gladiators down a member, having to fight back, having to try to persevere. The nano goes in as Mikey goes well. Dives into the back line and Shu, he cannot, nor does Funny Astro. Proper gets right underneath of him, takes down the Lucio, and it seems like that is going to be it. The OT will bleed away a celebratory primal end rally on the back end, as the Shock will claim well 176%.
And it comes through from a first blood onto Proper on multiple fights. Pulse Bomb sticking through, killing Kevster straight away is thematic for this series. Again, Proper versus Kevster is our highlighted matchup here. 8 final blows for Proper on that submap, only 1 for Kevster. Need to look for much more of a step up from our MVP caliber Tracer player of Kevster on the LA Gladiators side. San Francisco Shock, a lot of back and forth there. When push comes to shove, they had the frags ready to go. Finn had the earlier nano. Shu could not hold on to his life. Does not get the nano for the final fight. We move over towards Ilios Ruins. It's going to be Reiner coming through with the Doom this time. Lucio Moira for the Shock as well, do note.
Yep, minor shakeups here. Lucio Moira at the game from the side of the Shock. We've seen this be, hit and miss depending on which team is piloting it, but you do put a bit more stock into it here with the Shock rocking it. So let's see what happens and whether or not the Gladiators are going to be able to shut this down, which they need to do if they want to take this to a third and final round. Shu already though, dead off the rip. Violet getting on top and finds the melee kill. Patty Pan answers back, finding 1, but Mikey is quick to maintaining that man advantage. A 2-for-1 here for the side of the Shock is once more point unlocking, and they have first presence. Funny Astro under fire, the dive into the back, Proper not going to be able to finish him off with that clip. Still, it's threatening multiple members on the side of the Gladiators, making sure that they cannot rest easy.
And a much cleaner cap this time coming through with Shock. You don't have the same delay from Gladiators to slow things down. 2-for-1 trade in terms of members dead. Gladiators lose 2 there. Reiner on low HP couldn't dive back in. He's ready to go now, putting a lot of pressure on Mikey. Mikey has to leave.
Looking for it. There's the stick. There's Finn gone. Look, that was a hit on the Mikey, but Finn is going to be the one who eats it in the end. Violet as well, taken down, so no supports, no tank. Proper, Sam just looking for anything that they possibly can, but we'll just get picked off at the end by Kevster, who's starting to heat up. Gladiators once more regaining control, this time a little bit sooner. So Shock hit 24%.
And that's what you want to see out of Glads when you go up against a Lucio Moira composition. Shock want to be the faster team, so if Glads can flip the script that they can be the ones pushing the go button just that much sooner, putting the pressure onto Mikey. There's no burst healing coming through from this Lucio Moira like you can get from an Ana, and so Mikey's low once again.
A rare miss there from Proper. Patapen just sliding away, Mikey taken down, now Violet joining him in the grave. Gladiators have taken the lead here for themselves, so they look just for the further cleanup and build up towards these ultimates to further hold the point. Proper the last one to drop. Patty Pan comes up with 3 or 4 in that fight. Very nicely done by them, and so far the Glads are looking good on Ruins.
And they are able to outpace the Coalition's timing here as well, because Violet's only about to get the cold now, but you see Shu, you see Funny Astro, they're about to land on first support ultimates. As soon as the cold does come through, Gladiators can respond. They can just sound barrier directly into it. You're not really sounding sound barrier out for much, except for maybe the blade a little bit later on. So Astro goes for it.
Yep, Pete gets dropped. Patapan, however, still focus fired through that shielding. They managed to find the kill. Funny Astro as well. Dangerously low, gets the poop back, creates some distance, stays alive for a little bit longer, but the rest of the team is getting chewed apart across the map here as the Shock go ahead and wrest control away from the Gladiators. Kevster fighting back, does manage to find Finn, but the flip will be there before Reiner can dive onto the point, and then he quickly has to make his exit. Doesn't give up an additional stagger.
2-for-2 trade that you saw in that last fight, but Gladiators lose their support, so Reiner can't stay in. Grabs a Mega Health back on the side. Gets a little bit of healing, wants to do some harass, but they cannot hold on to the point. So importantly, Glads now stop that 67% Proper. Second Pulse Bomb miss, a little bit unfortunate there, but Shock have more to play through. Here comes the Blade.
The Blade is out, but the poop is absolutely massive from Astro, just keeping him at arm's length once more. And slash on the Reiner, takes him low. Mikey now with the Primal. Oh, he's got them locked in the side room. Shoot. And the tank of the Gladiators end up falling. They fish for a little bit more, so while the Blade didn't get too much done, the Primal Blade does a hell of a lot of work.
67 about to be on board for the Shock here as well. Still one more defensive ultimate. Glads want to pull the trigger here. They have the overclock available. They have been putting a lot of focus on damaging Mikey through Finn. Should be able to counter that this time with the sound barrier. They're going to go aggressive. Shock want to go first.
That they are. I mean, Anti out onto 3, but they don't care. Violet, she just goes ahead, fades that one off, and now they push forward and find the elimination. It's a deflect on the rail from Sam, knocks it back into Shu, claiming the kill, so Patty Pan only going to be able to find that singular kill with the overclock in the end. Back cap coming in as Kevster dodged around the rest of the Shock. Violet picked off here on the back end, taking the Cole out for the extended fight. And the Shock seems like they will just be happy to concede the rest of this over. They know that they have a little bit more time on their side, but Gladiators hold on to 4 ults.
And maybe Shock biting a bit more than they can chew there. Very aggressive beat going in. Usually you want to save that one to counter through for Patapan's overclock. And even despite the heroics of the deflect, Gladiators will get the number of kills, especially off the overclock. Still 4 ultimates in hand, by the way. And once more, we found ourselves at the critical timing. Cole's available for Violet, but so much more is available for Glads.
89% now. Pulse bomb out from Kevster. Not going to find any purchase. Mikey going to be antied out. However, Patapan is able to finish him off with the Rael. The Coalescence just not enough healing throughput. They're trying to keep him alive. Pulse bomb. Big sleep. Not going to connect. Get the sleep into proper. And Honey Astro is there for the alley-oop. He gets the elimination. Violet's going to be taken down. The overteam bleeding down. A last-second touch from Finn, but he's got nowhere to go other than the grave. And as this bleeds away, it will confirm that we are, in fact, going to a final round. Neither team going down without a fight. Go ahead and extend this all the way over to Lighthouse.
Shu making a name for himself. Possibly our best flex support in the entire league currently. A major sleep dart onto Proper that shuts him down. The ZZ's coming through. He knows what kind of damage he did in that final fight. 4 ultimates as well, though. The LA Gladiators holding strong when the Coalescences come on through. That is one of the key strengths for the Shock running a Lucio Mori composition. You have to play around the Coalescences. That's when you go for the aggressive plays. Each time, though, Shu and Funny Asher have their supports available. Funny Asher responds with a sound barrier. Shu pops the nano onto Patapan. The damage is too good. They shut down the carrier proper, and the Glads will take that 100.
Well, some questions there. Funny Astro at the very end of Ruins asking, Finn Lucio, what's that? And that's why we get the response of, it's just some fun. Well, it won't be too fun in hindsight if the Shock end up losing this map now. Not to say that Finn was
fun in the grand finals.
That they would have lost that. But yeah, we do a little bit of funning here in the grand finals this turn.
First wrecking ball that we are seeing from the Shock via Mikey, by the way. I thought this one might come through on well. He was playing the Winston instead. Now it will be the ball, but Sam opens up the first blood. It's Kevster again.
I mean, Kevster at a distance down to an echo. Not something you see too very often, but just plays off his teammates' damage quite nicely. Getting that pick, finding the timing. Get the shots to connect. Funny Astro making his way up top, stays elusive, avoiding the sticky bombs. Once more, the Shock will be able to lock down this point, and Reiner, he is out in the middle of nowhere, ends up falling. It will be a trade on the tanks, however, with Mikey getting taken down. Now they're looking for Sam, and he's locked in a bad position, and Shu was able to clean him up.
No flight available there for Sam. On the big sidelines there, Gladiators territory as well, I believe was on their side of the map. Proper taking down very low HP, but he'll take down Kevster in response, so things are going okay. Reiner was down pretty early in that fight as well. Half HP, Shu needs this nano.
Oh, Proper. A couple whips on Ruins, but this time he comes up huge, gets on top of Reiner and Patty. Pulse gets the 2 for 1 after taken down, and the Shock will be able to hold the point.
I mean, just making up for lost time, right? 2 missed pulse bombs on Ruins, like you said, but here we go. 1 pulse bomb for 2. Trying to catch up on lost kills that he had. Again, Reiner half HP, that Kipster, I believe, or either Patapan, one of them was dead. Shu did not have the nano in time, but now it is here. Low HP, though, it has to be a nano fight.
Oh, and he whips the sleep. Mikey gets in there. Plays off the back of the sticky bombs. Shu take it down now. Astro gone as well. The supports claimed. Shock looking to really hold this point for a hell of a lot longer. 56% already locked in for them with no end in sight.
Yeah, still no real engage from Glads either. I mean, we're waiting for overclocks to come online. The nano as well. Been up for about 1.5 fights here, but the tempo from the Shock just to slam the LA Gladiators into the side room, the little mini pack room there as well. Like you mentioned, Shu unfortunately couldn't hit the sleep dart. Didn't go for the nano either to try and make the comeback play, and Shock holding on to a lot of ultimates in what could be last fight very soon. The mines are out.
Mines invested nano as well here onto Reiner. Trying to keep him sustained. And oh, what a snap! Snipes him right out of the sky. Could have used the Duke to try to go for the iframes, keep himself protected. Now the body block is there, just trying to deny point access here to Mikey. He does manage to slink his way through. There's this Proper dodging and ducking around the back. The pulse bomb now at the ready with the sound barrier shield coming through. Means that he's going to have to hold on to this at least for a little bit longer, try to whittle away at these shields. Patty, however, has slid away from the rest of the squad, slid away from the point. That makes some easy pickings here for the rest of the Shock. He gets cleaned up. Sam once more going to be taken down, seemingly just locked into the respawn room, but Shock look to retake. And back over onto the point, occupying it, looking for the flip, and they're already at 97% of the Gladiators. Have to keep this one contested. The dash forward, they're looking for the supports. Pulse bomb going to be lobbed in this time, no stick for Proper, no elimination. And with Violet going down, the Shock might just have to reset.
Super fine margins here for the Gladiators. You see that Shock want to stay in the fight. They weren't done just yet. They had already the point flipped over towards the Gladiators. That's why we're on 30% now. Finn holding on to Transcendence. I mean, Shock wanted to burn a couple of ultimates there. You did see the rally, you did see the pulse bomb, but Glads held strong. 3 ultimates held on to. If those had been burned, Shock would be up economically, but Glads have a real chance of coming back now.
Dupe, but they need to really play this out wisely.
Lucio Dupe.
And yeah, I was going to say with their ulti already, but the Lucio dupe comes through. Sam trying to heal some people up, trying to weave in some of these left clicks, build up towards that sound barrier so they can win out the fight. Slow going, and it will be expiring here in about 2 seconds. Gets the beat, drops it down. The shielding now going to expire. Violet taken down moments before by the pulse bomb from Kevster, but the flip was there in the meantime. Shock retake control. Finn, however, now going to be eliminated. That's going to be a supportless side of the Shock. The mines come through to occupy the point. Kevster falling lower, takes the recall out, puts a hell of a lot of damage down to the proper. He tries to make his exit, but Kevster finds him in the end. The flip still needing to be there, though, as the contest continues from the side of the Shock. The boom pit, Kevster, I think he was blinking to the side, actually. Goes straight into the mines and ends up going down, and that could be catastrophic. Violet returns. Reiner claims the kill.
Astro has bait.
Look for a little bit more. The flip comes through. The Glads now back in control as they look for some cleanup kills, get some staggers. They will be able to keep this map going.
Really important kill from Kevster onto Proper a little bit earlier on there as well. Only one member dying to the mines. Now, like Gladiators, that could have been a very dire moment. Funny Astro coming back with the sound barrier, I believe was about 94, 95%. Might have had to burn that one, but they will be able to force the Shock out without having to use that ultimate, so they can save it for this final fight where Shock are mostly burned through. In terms of the ult economy, we're looking only at Proper now. He got a 2-for-1 at the start of this map. Can he get more? He's going to have to.
Absolutely. This barrier needs to be well timed from Astro. Someone typically you can very much rely on to not beat the beat. Reiner consistently getting whittled away at. Heels flying through.
Keeps the cashing up.
This is a bit of a battery, trying to get that nano ready to go. Does have a nice little lead over Finn, and Mikey's going to be taken down. The beat is still going to be used. Pulse bomb in, finds Violet once more. Slapster strikes him down. And as you say, Proper slept. Funny Astro once more gets on top of him to find the elimination. The cleanups come through, and the Gladiators, they will manage to persevere. A great fight to take at the very end. They clean it up. 2-1, but back and forth between both of these squads. It is the Gladiators, however, drawing first blood to kick off the series. And Funny Astro says, pick Ilios one more time.
And that's the thing, right? Because this is one of the very important maps for Gladiators. We've watched the Gladiators versus the Hangzhou Spark not that long ago, a couple days now. And this was the map, along with Coliseum, that they really brought back in terms of winning that series when they're down 1-2. Shock have also been favoring this as a first pick. They've first picked this map a number of times now, but any opportunity where the Gladiators can put Funny Astro in is going to be a strong map. But despite what Funny Astro is saying, it was a struggle. Gladiators did have to come back. Another heroic sleep from Shu onto Proper to deny him from the Pulse Bomb. And this time, it ends up being Kevster that opens up with the Pulse that wins the map.
Just impeccably played, so very back and forth the whole way throughout, and that is what we have been asking for, and that is what we hope continues throughout every single map in this series, not just Control, not just Ilios. I want to see this one go the distance. Give me 7 maps. I am fully prepared for it, and I'm sure the audience is as well. That's map 1 out of the way. We'll see if this is going to be tied up, if the Shock can't answer back with yet another map pick and try to get a victory. We'll see where they take us for Hybrid when we return. And we are back, just one map into this grand finals series. The Gladiators narrowly being able to edge out the shock and take the win here, 2-1 on Ilios. And a lot of it on the back end had to do with Shu and these consistent sleeps that he was finding on Proper. We saw the game-changing one, the game-breaking one for the shock on Ruins, and he does it once more here on Lighthouse.
Absolutely. I mean, this is Shu coming in for his role star. Once again, one of, if not the best flex support that we have in the Overwatch League. Gigantic sleep darts there. 1 and 2 prop off on, I believe it was Ruins, 1 now onto Lighthouse as well. That will get them very important map wins, and of course a kill onto Mikey. On the other end though, you do have Finn and Violet also trying to compete for that sort of #1 spot, or at least the upper echelons, going for those flex support role stars, just support role stars ready. Finn, the newbie on the block, extremely hyped up, probably the #1 flex support prospect from Korea in the offseason from contenders. And Violet, I mean, this guy basically is the go-to supports in terms of his accolades, his achievements.
Oh yeah.
And now the leader of an extremely young squad trying to take them to their first ever championship.
And it's, you know, widely has been looking at treat. Maybe not so much in the first map, but still, that is just one map out of the way. You can see Reiner and Kaluj having some smack talk back and forth across the way there. And at the very end, you know, Mikey, before he stepped away, said, yeah, you'll win the map, but you'll also lose the series. So he's saying, you know what, that first loss does not matter. We are going to be able to clap back. Now it's time for, well, while he might not be playing, for the team to put their money where their mouths are and see if they can do just that. Eichenwalde is the pick for hybrid, so we'll see if that can be the staging grounds for them to take the step forward and tie this 1-1.
I respect the self-censoring there from both Kaluj and especially Reiner. He had once a closed fist and a fist with an index finger, but not quite the middle one, so we're not going for the bird back and forth anyway. And speaking of birds, D.Va should be on the cards here for Eichenwalde for the shock. Again, map drafting strategy from me analytically is that this would have been Midtown for Gladiators had it been their map pick, but they win Ilios the map pick of the shock, and thus shock will take them to Eichenwalde. This has been one of their absolute signatures throughout the entire tournament. They are the only team to consistently run D.Va, and specifically they are running D.Va here from Kaluj. It is a shock specialty. Now, when we have this matchup in the upper bracket, the LA Gladiators tried to counter with a Zarya composition, both offensive and defensive. Does have a very good matchup specifically into the D.Va. So this Reiner versus Kaluj matchup is now, I think, one that we have to zoom in for Eichenwalde. Proper versus Kevster was big onto Ilios, but we have to ask the question, is it going to be more Zarya? Because Zarya did struggle specifically on that defense, wasn't very good on B for Reiner as well. That's where you expect it to be weak. But for the shock, because the expectation is that Kaluj runs D.Va, he's actually going to come through on a Winston. They have duped the Gladiators. However, the Gladiators, once they notice this, Reiner should be going back towards either Doom or Winston when they scout the Winston.
Yeah, we'll see how they try to hide this one. Obviously, they can expect that Kevster is going to be going for a pop shot, so just want to stay out of those Widow sight lines to buy a little bit of extra time on the Bamboozle before the swaps can come through. Just chip away at that time bank in any way that you could possibly do so. See what happens.
I gotta say,
looks like once the Glads do scout this thing.
I think this is better for Gladiators because they have the scouting advantage. They are attacking first. Once they peep what is being run on the defense here, Reiner will change. There's no reason to run a Zarya unless Kaluj is going towards a D.Va. And the D.Va so far, I believe, has a 100% match win rate or near 100%. So no real reason for shock to change unless they just want to kind of confuse the Gladiators. There goes Reiner. Let's go back to spawn now. Is it going to be Winston or Doom is the question. Doom has been the preference for Reiner for a lot of these maps, and the answer is Doom.
All right, there's a swap up. Kevster as well, moving off the Genji, goes over to the Tracer. And we have the Doom Fist coming out the gate. Support's going to be matched here with that Zen on it. Reiner wrapping around the back, spotting Sam there for just a moment. He'll slide away. Now the contest onto the point for just a brief moment. Putting down a little seismic slam, takes a punch to the side. See the Gladiators just poking and prodding, trying to get a sense of how Shock are going to be looking to pilot this defense and then try to find the entryway onto the point. Dash over the side, Proper chasing in, looking for Kevster, just force him to recall. It's Rhino takes a hell of a lot of damage trying to play forward. Kemster now, however, going to get picked off. Violet finding the opening kill. That Astrid from Proper going to whip. Doesn't manage to connect on the shoe, and likely would have been an elimination had he been able to do so, but he will get him on the second attempt, and now Skewed is forced all the way back. And it's going to be a successful first volley here, defended on the side of the Shock.
Couple more things to really note for this type of map here as well. As Proper is actually playing the Genji instead of the Tracer. Previous games that we have seen on Eichenwalde has always typically been the Proper Tracer along with the Sam on the Sojourn. Here is also another change up for the San Francisco Shock. Look for the Nanoblade in future fights. Violet is nearly there, who is also playing the Ana, playing double flex support. Very important for the Shock. This is why their win rate is so much higher off the control maps, because Violet is taken off the Brig and onto an Ana.
Nade used by Violet, just getting that boosted healing out onto his teammates, keeping them alive. And Patty fights Proper. Deflect already burned, I do believe. The headshot comes across. Big opening now for the side of the Gladiators. They look to take the point. Nano boost going to be used. Goes over towards Kalush and trying to keep him alive as he zaps away. Reiner falling lower and lower. Moves into the back. Will manage to find Shu, and Skip gets taken down by Sam's nade as well. Now no supports, no tick picked up. The Gladiators looking like they're going to once more have to reset and go again unless they can find this kill on a Kalush. They do manage to occupy the point for a little bit longer here. Patty sliding over, gets up over top of Kalush, finds that kill, and they're actually going to be able to turn this on its head.
Yep. Amazing by Patty. He outplays Sam there, but can Proper outplay the rest of the LA Gladiators. He's back in. There's not enough time, though. He would love to play. He's been stunned out here. We got the defense, but they cannot touch. That's too right.
They get blocked.
Couldn't get there.
They get blocked. They can't make their way through. And now the trance gets burned for absolutely nothing. No contest. The cap is there. Nearly 4 minutes in the time bank for the side of the Gladiators. They are going to be so very happy with that as Reiner, waiting to respawn, spams out the C9s.
It's so many failed ults here. We have a failed Transcendence, a failed Overclock from Sam as well, shut down by Patapan. Nano onto Kalush keeps him alive for some time, but he couldn't build the Primal within the Nano, so a couple things could have changed there. I mean, if there was a little bit more damage onto Kalush, if they had them stay alive for a little bit longer, had the supports died a little bit later there as well, Kalush could have built Primal the previous fight. The Transcendence would have come on through. Patty 100% would have played their fight, and at minimum, even if Shock lose, they force ultimates out of Glads, and that's the one thing that didn't happen. Glads now have 4 ultimates going to be. They are snowballing exceptionally hard.
Caps are trying to harass, but now with the recall burned. The collapse comes through from the rest of the members of the side of the Shock. They do manage to get that punish. Proper continuing to limit test a little bit with his HP bar. Has managed to stay alive for the most part, and with the pickoff on the Reiner, we'll have to wait for the reset. So for the cart not gaining too much distance, it's going to be a minute taken away.
I mean, we're expecting a little bit more distance considering, you know, how aggressively they were able to snowball that one. Again, 4 ultimates. Nano a little bit better served on either Reiner's brand new Winston here, or even better should be the Patapan. So again, Nano clock, the ultimate combo that we're looking for here. Very difficult to survive against. San Francisco Shock in that time had built up an extra Nano, so a little bit more even now. Nano going on Reiner's
no Nano clock, there's the sleep. They wake him up though. Reiner right back into the action. Nano going to be used on the Finn just to keep him sustained.
No Nano blade then.
For another target. He's Skewed moving forward with the Transcendence rolling, but the card, however, not moving at all. And now Skewed, as soon as that ult expires, he ends up falling. But Patty and Kemser, they manage to find the enemy supports. They clean him up, they get Sam as well, and with Kalush antied out, he does end up falling. And card can finally start moving over towards the bridge here for the side of the Gladiators.
Yes, Finn on 97 there as well. Would love to have the extra Transcendence again burned to try and save point A. To be fair to him though, in about the space of 2 fights, he's got another Transcendence doing a ton of damage on the Zenyatta. 4 final blows between Finn and Violet, 3 which on Finn. I said that Violet, great on the flex support, well Finn on the Zenyatta as well is also a big boon for Shock.
A lot of distance being given up. Just here now to the edge of the bridge, Patty taking a bit of damage as there's a fight happening over onto the ramparts, and Kemster manages to win it. Sam trying to take that high ground around the back, but Kemster says no, shuts him down. Kalush jetting over to the side, looking to put some pressure here on the Reiner, but the card is moving forward. They have to go for the contest. Finn going to be popping the Transcendence. This time he is able to get over towards the objective. The pulse bomb from Kemster flies through, and Violet taken down, had already used the immortality field. Seems that the Gladiators not going to be stopped this time around, not going to have the time bank drained down any further. That'll be the cap going through for them, and now it's going to be 2 minutes and 40 seconds as they breach the castle walls.
And it's more hero swaps as well, because Kalush did come back on a Diva, so the question will be, does he remain on the Diva or not? Not really the best for the final C-point defense. This is where Zarya or a Sigma or even the Winston could be preferred. Reiner has Primal available alongside more ultimates. The timing of Gladiators for getting these ultimates is insane, because they will now once more be snowballing to 4 ultimates for C. Kevs are changing from the Tracer to the Genji here for the Nano Blade a little bit later on. Bit of an insurance policy. He did also get the initial kill, I believe, onto Sam, which opened up the 5v4 on B.
Dive into the back, Reiner instantly falling low, has the Primal to rely on, however. makes his exit back over to the front of the cart. Now the Nano, for the re-aggression, goes diving in once more. Down about half HP, wraps back around the side, says, Shu, go ahead, offer me up some healing. She will be able to do so. Overclock here from Sam. He's looking for the shot, but a narrow miss. Can't quite catch Shu in the head. Stays safe. Now that ult going to be expired, and it's a lot of pressure applied to Proper, who needs to find a stick, needs to find an elimination with this pulse bomb. Sam falling low instantly. Patty finds the kill. Proper, even without the pulse, does manage to get in on top of the enemy. Sojourn finds that kill. Reiner going to be taken down as well. Seems like the Shock might be able to find a little bit of breathing room now. The final stretch of this defense. A minute and a half remaining. Gladiators, do they just make their exit? Reiner's going to be swapping over to lob in a desperation.
Surely a reset
throw, but doesn't find the kill.
They just don't have the numbers here. Gladiators, okay, swapping over towards Azari now. The Primal has been burned. Like I said, Azari preferable for a point-C offense, especially when Kaluj is playing D.Va as well. But Skew did not transfer the fight. You see Patty going very aggressive on towards the overclock, but didn't have the support. He was going straight into enemy lines, died straight away to Proper. Could have been the fight win and the cap for the LA Gladiators now. 1 minute remaining here. Trent still available. Finn to match that in a hot second.
And nearly has it. Needs to have it sooner rather than later. Antiana Kaluj can buy some space and time with that self-destruct. For now, it's just trying to stay in this mech as long as he possibly can.
Nano for Shu.
Knows that it's going to be too risky to just try to lob it in, but takes quite a bit of damage. The Nano once more going to be built up. This time it goes over to Reiner as he looks to build up some energy. Currently at 67. Self-destruct goes out from Kaluj, looks for a pick, but I think it actually lands on the chandelier. The card right now is not going to be contested. They finally manage to get the touchback through as he does re-mech. Sam slept, however, Patty gets on top of him. The headshot rail goes through. Made out onto Reiner. They're trying to give him sustained kill. It's working a trade. Finn taken down. The window's out from Violet, but Kevster pulls the blade, shuts him down. They clean up the kills, and the push comes to completion. The Gladiators managing to finish the map with just 16 seconds to spare, but crucially, they have time in the bank.
And that's why the Kev swap over towards the Genji was so important. Like I said, the insurance policy coming through, renew that one for the next side of Eichenwalde for sure for the LA Gladiators. When push comes to shove, we get towards the end there, and the Kevster blade to come on through when nothing else was available. But how about those heals from Shu and Skew as well, keeping Reiner alive for so long? It ends up being the proper pulse bomb to finally take him down. The Gladiators, despite not getting those amazing time bank, they do finish, they do cap 16 seconds, is still admirable. That's still a lot to work through in Shock. Now have the target set in terms of what they need to be able to get themselves.
Well. If the Shock on their map pick can take us to the end, it's not going to be an easy victory. It will go to extra innings, so need to try to set themselves up for as much of an advantage as they possibly can. See how they look, though, coming out the gate.
Let's very quickly talk about these compositions as well. Last time these two teams met, as a reminder, Reiner started out with the Zarya defense. That, unfortunately, was a very bad call from the Gladiators. It's good into Kaluj's D.Va, but it doesn't really have a lot of value once we get past A. They really struggled to do a lot on B, with the Zarya did not have the high ground, low ground mobility, did not have the verticality to play through, so starting out on the Doom or even the Winston, much more preferable once we transition onto B. It's about playing for the entirety of the map, not just for what is good on A. So this is an improvement from the LA Gladiators already in terms of opening compositional choices, but as mentioned as well, the Kaluj D.Va specialty for Eichenwalde is on the menu.
Once more, just slow and steady at the beginning. Shock tiptoeing around, chipping away at the HP bars of the Gladiators members where they possibly can. Tag Patty quite low. Now find Reiner here for the forward contest. Of course, his position back. He's also going to be using his mitigation. Doesn't have that for a little period of time as he goes diving into the back line, and that could be a dead sentence for him, and yes, it is. He cannot exit. Absolutely overstepped, and now the point is broken open with Cute falling as well. Shu, the last member standing. As far as the supports are concerned, they will manage to break Kaluj out of that mech, but even with that little pilot pistol, he'll still be taking down Patty. So, you know, it's not all about the caliber of the weapon. Manages to make use of it, and that is going to be the cap coming in. A massive 5.5 minutes about to be on the time bank.
Yeah, Kaluj can't be in Baby D.Va form for the following cap, so he's going to go reset that mech and continue that D.Va gameplay for B. Probably change when we get to see, but great stuff by the San Francisco Shock. An insanely good punish onto Reiner. Overstepping, by the way. Reiner lacking the patience there. Saw an opportunity in the back line, but was instantly punished by the entirety of the San Francisco Shock, including Kaluj. And no heals, because what you do see there is once Kaluj puts the Matrix on top of Reiner as he dives on in, Shu and Skew can't do a damn thing.
Yeah, I think he realized that he overstepped. Now swaps over to the Wrecking Ball here for the point B defense. Gave us a little bit of a blue steel look into the cam for a moment.
Patty.
See how they trade this time around. Proper. Dashing forward, pulse bomb at the ready. Avoids getting rolled across by Reiner. Stays hit for now.
No good nano targets.
To find a headshot. Yep, Sam going to be taken down. Like you said, nano targets. A little bit difficult to decide on who you want to go for. The cart will be abandoned.
I mean, the first pick is really important for Gladiators because that will slow down the shock, so they're going to have to wait for that respawn, which comes through now. And this is where you can go for Patty because he does have the overclock, so we are going to get that nano clock combo. Not likely to go on top of Reiner or Scoot unless they're in trouble, so Reiner at this stage has to try and not take too much damage because Shu knee splits on Patty. He's put on Reiner instead.
Okay, well, the sleep head's connected. The nano's there to try to keep him alive, but here comes the... Oh,
Matrix!
Oh, Kalush! Rotates up to the high ground, keeps him protected. Now, Invest sets up the struck to go ahead and clear out some space. Proper, in the meantime, is doing the Lord's work here for the side of the shot. Comes up with 2 eliminations before Skewed can find an answering kill, taking down Sam. But the cart now opened up the bridge, completely unoccupied. Some space moving forward as Proper cannot recall. Does end up falling.
Sombra.
But the Glads can wrest control away.
Yeah, I just don't know if this Paddy Sombra is going to be it. I mean, not great hacking targets unless you can find Proper or Sam. Pretty similar sentiments to what we had onto Ilios. Hacking Kalush does nothing for you. You get, what, 1 second less of Matrix? Bit of a joke. That's not going to help you at all. Can they initiate a dive on towards Finn, though? That could be another target. At least you get good scouting when you do have the Sombra. It's going to get the Sombra. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, the pile driver doesn't even connect, but it doesn't matter. Still enough damage output to go ahead and take him down. Sam now going to be going for the dupe. Goes over to the Tracer. Now is going to be broken out of that by Kevster. Still looks to apply some pressure. Falling lower and lower. Tagged down to 45 HP. Just hugging into the corner as much as he possibly can. But the healer's quite far away. Will get topped up as Violet arrives into the stairwell to go ahead and sustain him.
There's the hack onto Proper, but again, you have to claim that 1 second window, so your team needs to be in position between both Reiner and Kevster, and also Paddy.
Oh, Violet.
A lot of damage being taken. Okay, well, Reiner slept, but he just kills Violet anyway.
Yeah, takes a little nap. Says, you know what? I've done my job.
Wait a minute, Sam.
Question mark. Okay.
Did he get hacked? Was that a hack?
That's all I can think is that he got hacked and went off the side of the map. You would have to hope that that was the case for him. Either way, he's not going to be sticking with the Echo anymore. Swaps now over to the Sojourn. Then going to be taken out. The break on the mech for Kalush. And this is
that's brutal.
Really good for the side of the Gladiators. They are very much playing this up to a T, just finding these consistent picks.
The super long respawn for Kalush as he has to reset the mech again here in the San Francisco Shock. I mean, if we're going to finish this map, you need to see a lot more distance being gained here. Really, Patapan came through what I believe to be more of a desperation swap to Sombra, come back quickly, try and set up for the next fight, but he's lived so long, we've waited long enough that he's nearly got EMP available. Nano onto Reiner again.
Pulse bomb out, not going to find the kill, but it still does quite a bit of damage there. Sam and Violet both end up falling. The Nano onto Finn. Doesn't matter when he is the only one standing there and is surrounded by members of the Gladiators. They do get the pitch, they get the kill. Blue's just trying to pistol his way back in, but with a sliver of HP, it's just going to be a late stagger for him.
Okay, this is important now. Patty Pan should have a 3-man dive between Reiner, Kev, and Patty with the EMP onto the back line. Shock need to know this is coming in as well. Finn and Violet are going to be the targets. Sam is going to play counter spy here. Both teams just going to go towards the Sombra, losing maybe a little bit of...
He sees both supports.
Confidence in the Sojourn. Maybe he can't find the rail charge, but 1 minute 12 left, and I can't overstate how important this map is for the Shock. This is their map pick, one of their signature maps.
Let's get started.
Okay, they hack Kalush. Spires can use the D-Matrix once more. Panic goes ahead, jumps out of there, translocating. Jump over the top, low on HP. Or if Harmony goes his way to try to keep him alive, and Finn, he's going to be probably the Transcendence now. It's just him and Proper playing this far forward. The rest of the team is all the way back.
I don't know what happened. He slept. He slept.
I have no idea. Now he's going to be slept. They look to get on top of him. The anti goes through. Kevster finds the kill. Runner once more gets Violet with a minefield. And what in the hell is happening? This one from such a clean initial take from the side of the Shock.
Was it
5.5 minutes. Now 5 of those minutes are gone.
Yeah, that's disastrous coming through from the Shock. I mean, they had a great A offense, but B has been an entire stonewall in front of them from the LA Gladiators. Thematic is where an Eichenwalde here is on. We're still talking about the EMP. It's still a big factor. We can save this until the last fight now. This is huge from the Gladiators. They have 4 ultimates, and the Shock are reeling. They have nothing to work through. They need this Nano coming on through.
Dash into the back. The pulse bomb not going to connect. Doesn't get the elimination. It's going to be Shu taken down to the opposite side of the field. Denying that Nano. Blue now just trying to keep this cart occupied. Nano invested, keeps this D.Va nice and safe.
Where's
Still has
Patty?
the self-destruct to use to try to buy some space. Patty, the EMP comes through, gets the hack out onto pretty much everybody on the side of the Shock. I think
no dive though.
Able to avoid it, but there's no dive, there's no kills coming through. An Ice Anti does connect on the two. Violent under some fire, and they cannot keep him alive. Self-destruct goes out, will find Skewed, but not before Sleep
Proper.
in, so now there's no supports. Proper going to be taking a nap here. The Sleep Dart connecting from Shu as they try to keep Reiner alive, 29 HP. He crashes through. Manages to get that boop across, and now it's just going to be Patty and Kevster versus Proper, duking it out, trying to stop this push from coming through, and they will be able to do it. Proper gets pushed away. The defense is there. The Gladiators win out another map. They are halfway to victory, closing out yet another victory on a Shock map pick.
This is going to have to be a long series for the Shock now. Thankfully, it is not a first to 3, not a best of 5 here, not quite a reverse sweep required from the Shock, but still a mountain to climb. This was another Shock map decision. They really wanted to go to Eichenwalde. Again, I repeat, a signature map pick for them. The D.Va here has been flawless. They've never really lost with the D.Va on this map. And even despite the EMP from Patapan kind of whiffing there, I say it whiffed despite it catching 3, you need the Kevster, Reiner, Patty trio dive for that EMP to be truly successful. Shock survive against that, but a lot of unfortunate, mind-boggling situations on that offense. What happened to Finn? Why did he use the Transcendence? He then gets slipped and killed. Very confusing stuff.
This is just yet another unsolved mystery. We may never know the reasoning. I'll have to see if we can pull some replays during the downtime and really dive into what in the hell just happened there. All I know is that the Gladiators are now 2-0 up in this grand final. The San Francisco Shock not finding purchase whatsoever, and they need to start answering back. As you said, they're not quite in a reverse sweep situation, but if they can't win on their next map pick, they absolutely are going to be. So it is going to be a must-win as we turn our sights over to Escort. We'll see where they go, if they can get a win when we return from the break. And welcome back. A 2-0 lead here for the side of the Gladiators. But before we go back into the series and see whether or not they can take it the match point, a reminder to pick up your Royal Knight Mercy skin, as it's only on sale for a little bit longer. August the 19th is how long you have to invest your 200 tokens to be able to pick up that skin. Otherwise, once it disappears, it's gone for good. So make sure you guys grab it while the getting is good. Now, we can focus back in onto the series. The San Francisco Shock so far have had 2 map picks with 0 victories. Have not been able to find any firm ground to stand on so far, Avril.
Certainly not. And the winner of this will have their colors on that Royal Mercy as well. So it's going to be purple. Is it going to be orange? The winner of this will decide. A couple of perplexing moments on Eichenwalde. A reminder that was the San Francisco Shock's map choice. We'll talk about the substitutions in a minute. I did decipher what ended up happening with Finn's Transcendence there. You wouldn't believe it, but the player that actually pressured Finn to use the Trance wasn't Kevster, wasn't Patapan, it was actually Shu. Shu walked up as the Ana player, lopped on damage on towards Finn, forced him to Trance, and then after the Trance finish, Shu also then slept Finn, and it led to the Finn death as well. So figure that mystery out. Insane play by Shu in that moment to be able to get that ultimate out, then kill Finn afterwards as well. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Well, there you go. And we solved the unsolvable mystery, and it didn't even take a 1-hour-long YouTube video to go over the entire story of it all. So Shu just continuing to do wonderful things as he is known to do in that support role. I mean, we've seen, we think back to the clutch from him on Havana at that point B defense. We think back to all of the sleeps that he's been connecting onto proper to help them win out on Ilios, and he continues to deliver for the Gladiators.
I'm glad you brought up Havana because, the Shu moments just keep racking up. High stakes environments, big pressure games. Shu got them a stage title last year. He was a part of the Kickoff Clash Championship this year as well. Let's see if we can get it done now. Skewed by his side, Arns being subbed in as well. Important that you note what map we are going to. Matchup analysis for me in terms of the map drafting says that we should have gone to Circuit Royale. It has been a monstrously good map for the San Francisco Shock. Fantastic win rate. Proper gets to play the Sojin on that map as well. And Kilo's Widowmaker has been popping off, so it's a great map that the Shock have had great times on. However, they have chosen to go to Gibraltar. This one's a little perplexing to me. I don't know if I agree with it because the Gladiators just won this map versus the Atlanta Reign. In a situation where I think there's been some fair criticism towards Arns' performance so far this tournament. Hasn't been able to keep up with the top Widows of the entire league or the top hit scans of the league so far in their matchups. But they did beat Kai, they did beat the Atlanta Reign, and further than that, Ilios, they actually full held on A. So they dominated the Atlanta Reign on this map, and yet Shock are going to take us here. Could Kilo still beat Arns? Likely, but you're not going to get the proper Sojin unless he chooses to play it. You're not going to get the Kaluj Sigma either, which has been a big boon for the Shock.
Well, seemingly the Shock, I mean, of course, having watched that series, must say, yeah, we think we can beat this. Taking a look at that full hold defense, so time will tell. But again, if they want to avoid that reverse sweep necessity, they have to get a victory here. Let's see how they fare now. Starting things off on that defense, Kilo, of course, going to be on the Widowmaker.
Yeah,
looking to hunt down Arns.
We didn't get to see the BNC offense side of Glads last time because, well, again, the full hold was there, but Glads attack first now. Arns versus Kilo. Very important matchup, and Kilo strikes first blood. This has been a bit of an issue for Arns over the course of this tournament. He needs to get the better of Kilo because last time in the upper bracket on Circuit Royale when they met, Kilo had his number almost every time.
That he did. Not the performances that we have, very much come to anticipate from Arns, who's, put on clinics and looked like the best hit scan player in the world at times. Needs to get back into that form right here. Regain the name, the Ansan Sniper, where he debuted many, many moons ago in 2018 Contenders.
It's a young talent coming through that's just been so phenomenal. MN3, Kilo, just to name a couple. I mean, Shy only debuted last year as well.
Yeah.
Sleep onto Mikey as Arms will finally get one back. Okay, opportunity Gladiators. They can use this 5 versus 4. They need to start taking some map control. They have both high ground and their payload push into where they want to, and now they are able to convert further. Look at that.
Oh dear, yeah, it's falling apart here for the side of the Shock so far on this point A. Gladiators just push through. Arns is right up against the backside there of Mikey. Does not care. Knows that he is perfectly safe as we'll take a look back at the opening pick. that led to this spiral out of control.
Oh, that
and
was
nice
sick.
one. Slim margins to work with, but spots the feet, gets the head, and now the point broken open and capped. 4:45 in the time bank for the Gladiators to work through as they enter into the hangar.
And pay attention to the ults as well. Mikey only just got the primal, so Shock couldn't quite get those ultimates online. Arns continues to get picks here. This is great from the Gladiators. They're able to snowball effectively off a single snipe of the Kilo. They get the point A capture. They have, or about to get, shuttle control as well. Shock could not defend with the lack of ultimates. It's a simple 5 versus 4 advantage that Gladiators are able to convert into further kills, and their map control looking great right now. Kilo can't even respond to the infra site.
We cannot. Kevster just shoving forward, spotting him, chipping away at his old toes there. Throwing out those shurikens, fine spin. Kilo will be able to answer one back as Reiner gets dropped. No nano to be found there. Now it's going to be used on the Scoot, actually, to keep him alive as they turn the sights over to Mikey. Anteed up, or rather discorded up, makes his exit. The cleanup's there on a proper. The cart continues to roll forward. Gladiators making a fantastic pace right now through towards point B, and if they can get this cap, the time bank is once more going to be bumped up and be massive. Violet anti out at the moment. Does have that Transcendence online. The capture gets on top of Kilo. Takes him down. Now Finn out in the middle of nowhere. Nate does go through, does anti out Kevster, but he is still more than saved. Duking it out back and forth here against Proper, who does get topped up by the Transcendence. They sustain him for a little bit longer, but now as that expires, Reiner pops the primal, gets on top of Violet, finds the elimination, looks for a little bit more. Juggles Finn away from the respawn room, and with this stop, looks for the final blow. Pops the bubble, the cap is there. In the meantime, Kilo able to find Kevster, but cool, I guess, at the end of it all. Nice snipe from Reiner to go ahead and take down the Widowmaker, and it's 4.5 minutes plus for the Gladiators in the final stretch.
Yeah, masterful stuff. That is flawless map control coming through from the Gladiators. Again, snowballing off a single pick from Arns all the way back on A, pushing through the tunnel, gets that kill onto Kilo, and we are snowballing ultimates, positioning, map control, everything. 3 ultimates, by the way, spent by the Shock. You had, what is it, Infrasight, Primal, and Nano eventuate to nothing there. They also could not force the Kevster blade out, so Kevster still gets to hold on to that with the Nano about to come online for both teams. The Nano blades could decide the next fight.
Could be everything but the Shock. They need to find something. They need to get a win, gain card control for the very first time here in this map. Hans once more looking for a pick. The next Infrasight nearly there as he is just laughing.
Finn's down!
In this regard, blades come through. Proper going to be able to find Skewed. Finn taken down, but that is the support duo gone from the side of the Gladiators. So the Shock should be able to play off the back of this and finally establish some form of card control, especially with Hans dying on the back end. A good chase there from Mikey, and they will at long last be able to hold this.
That's double supports down for the side of the Gladiators, so Shock get 1 extra Finn. Indeed does die, no Nano popped onto Proper, but Shu also dies without getting the Nano onto Kevster, so neither of our blades ends up being Nano up for the extra. And LA Gladiators not able to get too much distance off that. Another 5 versus 4. Surely this one is again very usable by the Glads. No response by Shock. Kilo's too far away from the Infrasight.
Well, I think the Widowmakers are 1-1 against each other. That is going to be Ons very much taking a lead over top of Proper, shutting him down once more. Swap over to the Tracer now as the dive goes through. Reiner with the Nano, gets on top of Finn, finds that elimination, looks for a little bit more. We'll just go ahead and knock a couple people back into the respawn room. Cart getting closer and closer here as they once more look for the contest. Violet dropping low, doesn't pop the trance yet, however, holds on to that with the pick off on the Shu. And now Ons dying. Seems like the Shock should once more be able to hold this cart for a little bit longer.
Skewed would have loved to trans, but not available there, so Reiner takes a bunch of damage, has to come back on, and Shock, they're able to actually match the ultimates now. A fantastic A and B push has been stalled out significantly. Shock have equaled, in fact, greater ultimates than the LA Gladiators, and finally Kilo will get the first blood instead. Arns has had a couple of those in the past. You see this very tricky Venom Mine spot as well. Ends up being a head glitch. Kilo can see through it, can fire through it. Arns, if he shoots Kilo, is going to hit the mine instead. And we actually got a look of that, I believe, in the Shock versus Dragons game where, yeah, on Circle Rail, Lip actually shot the Venom Mine and did not hit Kilo for that exact same play.
It's cheesy, but you take advantage of everything you possibly can in this type of series. This and it will be destroyed by Kevster, who moves forward, out of that position. Denies the sidelines, but oh man, great shot there. Hits Reiner, but Ons gets Violet once more. Coming up with a massive kill to open the fight for the side of the Gladiators, who now can start moving the card forward, and this is just such a wash here. The cleanup coming in, Violet in desperation. Violet Transcendence making his way out of the spawn room just to keep this card contested. 0.66 meters left to go, but he will die, and no one else can get the touch in time. You can see the desperate Reaper coming through. As some ults in celebration popped. The Gladiators finished with 1:31 on the time bank.
Yeah, that's a decent finish coming on through. And again, as a reminder, we did have a full hold on A versus Atlanta. Look, if Shock lose this map, you have to significantly question why Circuit Royale was not the map choice here. Again, a situation where proper Sojin was more than deadlifting. I believe he had 1/3 final blows versus the LA Gladiators on that map. You're also forcing Glads to rotate space in, a player that hasn't had the greatest amount of scrim time with the team. Glads would prefer to not be subbing space and keep Reiner in, because again, he is their starting tank player here. Arns is also heated up, so the one area that Shock should have an advantage in this Kilo versus Arns sniper duel has so far heavily gone the way of Arns. Now Kilo is attacking. Can he get the good sight lines on the attacking side? Can he get those initial first bloods that he did actually get on Gibraltar A that then went missing? Let's take a look at Arns again in terms of how he set all of this up. Boom. You also notice a headshot coming through from Kilo onto Reiner as well, but of course Reiner's a Winston player. Violet gets killed, and this is just a further snowball where Mikey, after being slept, can't do anything about it. Shock did not respond with anything there. No frags. Violet would love to trance, but he was the first one down.
Another fantastic sleep. Stopping all attempts from the side of the Shock to get an advantage. And look for it. That's a nice deflect back.
Shu and Violet slept.
Oh no, 1-for-1 actually is what it is here.
Yeah.
They did both get slept. Little minor exchanges. Kilo routing. I think he might have just seen Ans's head there for a brief little moment. Spotting him is the first step. Nailing the shot, that's the second one, the most important step. See what happens now as you were teeing it up with these aggressive sightlines. Can he find some success to break open this push? On's already positioning quite far back, just over top of the point itself, as Reiner takes a nap. Will just be naturally woken up.
Payload on the move as well. Every single time that Arns goes for a top side peek, it ends up being Shot going for a bottom side peek via Kilo's sort of Overwatch positioning here. I'm not talking about just the game here, but obviously the strategy. With Reiner down though, this is going to be map control taken by the Shock.
Dead in the stairwell. Couldn't make his way back over to his supports nor the health pack to try to stay safe. Now Kevster trying to get aggressive. Dives into the back, cannot find a damn thing. Ends up getting taken out. Shoot dead. And all right, looks like Shock here to play their own push here on a point A, looking just as successful as the Gladiators. So a massive time bank with 5:15 now locked.
But Glad's in the same position, was able to snowball on B as well. They had the opening frags. I believe Arns got further kills that allowed Glad to take shuttle control. So can Shock also do that? It's not just good enough to get A cleanly. You have to snowball onto B. They have first nano available. Both infra sites are going to be even here as well. Violet slightly further ahead than Skew. Shu is catching up.
I mean, everyone knows how infamous this point is for trying to attack through once the doors have shut. Reiner again getting lower and lower. The Discord about on him, and he manages to make his way over to the Mega Pack, but he still needs to get some healing. The bubble coming down to try to deny it. He goes down to the sliver of HP, comes around the corner, and now Mikey says, okay, lots of people inside of the dropship, on top of the primal. Looks to cleave them down, but still takes a significant amount of damage. Makes his exit for a brief little moment. Kilo in the meantime going to be Goomba stopped by Reiner. Mikey gets eliminated. Might have been a sleep into the headshot there from Ons. Either way, they break down the Winston, and now the rest of the kills follow. So knife staggers to be found as Violet tries to make his exit. Drops down, grabs the health pack. The Zap not going to connect, so he will live to fight another day. But it's going to be the Gladiators stopping up the Shock, denying the snowball.
Yeah. Nano traded for Primal there as well. Mikey going for the big place. He nearly had Reiner. Reiner jumps through Mikey's body as well, so nearly had that body block that would have confirmed Reiner's death, or at least at minimum maybe forced out the Primal Rage. I can't remember if he had it or not. Kilo swapping over towards a Tracer. Arns getting that kill once again. They lose all sniper pressure. Arns can now freely snipe, assuming no one jumps on top of him. And free infra sight here as well.
Spying out everybody there. Minor contest from Proper. We'll be able to build up towards that blade a little bit faster. Nano in the meantime invested over to Mikey, and he's going to be slept once more. Pushed back away as they hold up the right-click charge. Put a hell of a lot of damage down on him as well as the anti, but so far he has not died. Reiner now coming to the reinforcements as Ons again gets Proper in the head. I swear, Ons, he's been a sleeper agent. That's why he has been performing. I spoke the magic words. I initiated the code. Ons on sniper, and now he is awoken.
Absolutely. And this is the Ons that we've been waiting for. Very much asleep in the previous few matches. But in the finals now, in the most important game on his map as well, a very important escort right. He needs to be the player to take control, and he certainly is. That 12 final blows, make it at 13. Ons is back online, and Shock have no answer.
Well, for the Shock fans, I'm so sorry to have awoken him, but it's great to see all the same for just Widow and Hans appreciators across the board.
Kilo's back.
Here to play, knows that the pressure is mounting in this grand final series, and he is hungry for the win.
This man who led the Shock to a championship victory in 2020, now on the other team, came back in 2021, an unfortunate season for the San Francisco Shock, but Proper does get Kipster down, 5-4. Finally, can the Shock make this advantage work? Arn's desperate for a trade on the back end. Right, the force trance.
Proper looking to contest him, drops down, grabs the health pack. Orb of Harmony out onto Ons to go ahead and keep him alive. He grapples to the opposite side, he's looking for the point-blank shot, the deflect coming through, but just not enough damage. With Mikey's arrival, they will finally be able to take him down. Kilo, he finds the taste of the Genji as well. Headshot there into Kevster to go ahead and try to break this open a little bit more. Halfway there, just about, a little bit over that as the cart push now continues. A team kill.
Yep.
Can there be a final contest with Reiner not respawned? I guess the answer is probably no.
Too late.
Kevster could try to go for it, but no, it's not going to arrive in time. The cap will be there. 3:15 now for the Shock in the final stretch.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, look at the Shock supports on the left-hand side. They might have the reset here. They could be in a lot of trouble. Kilo gets skewed down.
Are.
Okay, yes, Shock's going to get this clean up. Yeah, this is a big reset for Gladiators. They lose 3 members for absolutely nothing. And Kilo got a couple of important frags in there. Kilo looking for his pound of flesh in this grand finals. Unsun Sniper has been activated on B. An ex-Shock member who led them to a victory, now on the other end looking to put Glads online for a back-to-back championship. Infrasight for Infrasight. 131 is the target. Glads, that's their time back. Shock, 2:30 to play through. They need a cap in the next minute to be able to match.
Feels like this is roughly the first time that they've been able to have these coupled together. The Kilo shut down immediately. Kevster pulling the blade into the back line. He's trying to deal with Violet, but they keep him alive, and Violet shuts him down. Good returning kill. Reiner as well, just melted there. Nowhere to go. He's locked down to the Nano, goes forward, making sure they can confirm the kill. Cart now gliding forward. The time looking decent here for the side of the Shock to be able to go ahead and tie things up. Mikey as well with a primal pop. Gets on top of Ons, shuts him down. Reiner rejoining to zap away at Violet, trying to take him out. The cart
still got a blade, here it is.
Touch, starting to come in, Proper draws the blade, he's looking for Shu. He's not going to be able to find him, forces him back into the respawn room. However, the cart once more going to be advancing forward. Someone's going to go for the touch. Reiner there, primal popped. He's trying to stay alive, 2.6 meters left to go. Skew's going to be taken down, but Violet traded out. So knows Zenyatta's in the fight now, but Ons returning on the Cassidy, instantly dealt with by Mikey. Reiner in desperation, just sitting in the bubble.
Watch the time.
Looking behind the cart, trying to deny as many sightlines as he possibly can, and Shu is here to back him up. He does hold on to that nano boost should they need a bit of a bailout. Shu now going to be retaking the occupation duties of the cart, making sure there's no back gap to be found. In fact, there's going to be some rollback here, so a little bit more breathing room now for the Gladiators.
Nano onto Primal. Reiner rather, no Primal just yet, but he's going in deep regardless. Kevster off the Kilo. Shock have to reel back. They've Nano Vita in response. It's a Nano for Nano trade, but Shock are guaranteed to lose this fight.
They need to disengage. They need to get out of here. They need to reset right here, right now. A minute about to be back in the time bank. As Finn is not going to be able to stay alive. One last push here for the side of the Shock. Looking like an OT finish, if they can get it done.
Had it so good.
They absolutely
had it so good. And about a minute ago, it was looking like a very good push. They just had to get the Gladiators ultimates out. A lot of just stalling ultimates available back in that last fight. We had Transcendence, we had Primal, speaking of which is now going to be online for the side of the LA Gladiators through Reiner. So that, at minimum, is going to cost more time for Shock. We're no longer talking about getting a good time back. We're talking about capping in the OT.
Kevster dipping back. Stepping away from the Tracer battle for just a moment. Gets that Orb of Harmony. Kilo in for sight pop. Goes up on top, looks for Ons, but he manages to juggle back around the corner. Kevster, however, taking down Violet. Able to start things off. The right foot forward and Proper finds Skew. 2 picks now here.
Still got a final
attack. Violet gets another one, putting the team on his back. Primal going to be popped. Reiner looking to delay this. Drops back down, contests the cart for a moment. Retreats down into the spawn room. Gets back out. 1.88 meters left as Kevster finds an opening kill. Finn going to be eliminated, but now Kilo gets Reiner. The Transcendence is there from Violet. Shu tries to go in for the touch. Will get picked off one after the other. The Gladiators members bleeding down. The finish comes through in overtime for the Shock, but they still have their work cut out for them. A minute added as we get ready to go into extra innings to 2.5 for the Gladiators.
Yeah, good picks coming through from Shock in that last fight before Reiner had to pop the Primal, and unfortunately for the LA Gladiators, their ability to stall really starts and ends with that primal. If Reiner is burnt down and Gladiators can't respawn and reinforce while the primal is up and get some frags as well, they're not going to be able to hold on towards C. And like I mentioned, no longer looking for a time bank for Shock. We're looking for an OT cap. They get that, get the bonus minute coming on through, as does the Gladiators for Shock's minute. So it's 2:31 now versus just the 1. Both teams have not had successful A-point defenses. We've had significant pushes and snowballs from A off the back of individual picks. It was Arns onto Kilo for the Gladiators attack, and it was Reiner dying, I believe, from the San Francisco Shock, killing him, that allowed the Shock to also snowball through A. I don't know if B is going to be relevant in this time bank. A is going to be the most important thing here.
Oh, absolutely. If B does become relevant, then it's going to be a wonderful boon to whichever team can make it that far. You see Violet just
those shots.
getting the dink, setting up a proper to get in there, find the follow-up kill, and Violet playing angry. Might not have got a nano up this time, as he's been the target of those nano boosts, I think 3 times in this map so far.
Yeah.
This time he does it without it. Wonderful kills, very necessary. They found those. Let's see if he can do it again now as they start up on the attack.
Blast from the past, Ilios, you know. Old Violet coming on through on that Zenyatta like we saw on previous seasons, 2020 season, 2019 as well. Arns, first blood onto Kilo. Here we go. This is where the Glide start to feel a little bit more comfortable. Again, no time for the Shock. Can't really afford to die much more than that. 30 seconds remaining. Every meter counts.
30 seconds.
Yep. All right. The Shock will at least breathe easy that the underpass is not being contested, so Proper can go ahead and escort this card forward, try to get it up to the top of the ramp here. A little bit of free distance given. Now the drop down comes through. Gladiators not allowing it to go any further for free. On's going on the aggressive angle, jumps up over the top. Mikey's in a body block, however. Denies the sight lines. Once more.
OT.
Looking down main. Deflect used. Shoving him back. Kilo needing to find a kill. Over time. Now rolling through the cart once more, steadily being inched forward. Reiner playing up. Keeps this one locked.
Shoot, nearly nano.
Go back in for the touch. Somebody's got a touch. Oh my goodness. Slim margins. Mikey almost gives his life for it, but now Ons gets an opening shot on the Finn, taking Liana's head off.
Nano's here.
So a little bit more. The Nano goes out. Kevster gonna be boosted up. Doesn't have a blade, but it might not matter. Dashes through, finds Violet. No supports here for the side of the Shock. Mikey with a sliver of HP, 9% shy of the primal that he will not be able to build up, and that is as far as it goes. The Gladiators have a very real, very achievable win condition as they look to move up 3-0.
Score. 3.
And that, I'm afraid, I don't know if that's enough for the Shock in terms of distance gained. 63.67.
Initiating match.
Unfortunately, no cap. What ends up happening there is Arns the first blood onto Kilo, and that can honestly decide it all. First blood's coming through from the Widowmakers. Shock having to reset 4v5 there, losing time, giving Glad space to work through. Shu with the first nano as well. Very important timings there for the ultimates because we did not have any other ultimates online. It was just going to come down to who gets first nano. And now Shock, by the way, Kilo on towards the Ashe. They have to play far more aggressively because that endpoint for the payload is the default endpoint for when you normally just kind of push the payload up the hill, reset your team, go for the high ground play, and then once you take high ground and transition to server, you can start pushing payload again. So this is, in terms of distance, it needed to be a lot more. And that was a pixel from Arns as well on Kilo. That is the Arns that we know and remember.
Just absolutely gorgeous shooting from Ons this whole map throughout. Gladiators needed him to step up the most. He has absolutely been delivering. Shock now very far forward here on this defense. TP doesn't get the high ground, so what I believe Ons wanted, so it gives a little bit of a wry smile, supporting the team over to the clock itself, which they will get moving.
This is going to be a major range advantage. Kilo cannot match the range, by the way. Double Bayonet coming on through. That's going to force Shock back. Part of the reason why he might be playing for this Ashe is the Bob defense as well. When he can get that, you can brawl up effectively at medium range with this Ashe, and they want to be playing server room. They have to hold the payload here, so server room is of utmost importance.
Dynamite does get a little clip there on a Kevster for just a moment. The cart already most of the way there because the Sharks, they cannot contest forward in that underpass. Just be a death sentence having everybody grouped up like that. Ons searching for a head. Good anti comes out, clips onto 3. Grapples
That's
away,
important.
stays safe. No kills to be found off the back of that, but it does slow them up for a moment as they have to try to top up Ons and Reiner, who Ons down to a sliver, and Proper does manage to find that opening kill, but he gives his life for it. Skewed, taken out. Kilo with a nice headshot, will find Shu. Reiner looks to contest over towards server room. Gets dinked, however. Should be able to get cleaned up, but no, has the leap back off cooldown, makes his exit.
Look at the Annas again. This is the key point here. Finn above Shu. Shu actually died in the previous fight. Finn did not die. He also had a 3-man bar, so he is leading an ult charge for the Shock. They need everything going their way. Finn actually needs to try and not blow this nano too early. You need to have the Gladiators in a position where they want to engage, and you counter with your own nano. Buy time, a minute left.
1.3 meters left to go. They have to stay glued to this. Proper. A nice opening kill. Does find Shu. Mikey Nano managing to stay alive for a little bit longer.
Mikey needs Primal.
Away with a break. Does find Kevster. Proper going to be taken down by Skewed once more. It seems like the fight should widely be won, and the Gladiators need to reset. 45 seconds remaining, but no, they're going to pull the trigger on this. They want to try to fight this one out. The Transcendence goes through. Ryan's going to be anti for the moment. There's not enough damage to take him down through that. He makes his exit, pulls back. The Primal nearly up. Mikey has popped his own.
Look at the ults. Finn had already used his nano. He was forced to use nano onto Mikey a little bit early on. This is what I'm saying. You need to be able to save these ultimates if you can longer, because it has to be a final fight victory here for the Shock. Glad's now multiple ults coming on. Nano Blade available. Primal as well. And they're going to open up with odds. On the Proper.
Kilo's dead. The DPS taken out of the fight. Odds once more delivers, and Skewed plays off the back of it beautifully. Finds Kilo. The rally going to be canceled out. The Primal Rage from Reiner taking down a Violet. They've cleared the cart. They've gotten the push. The Gladiators once more win out on a Shock map pick, and now they bring this to match point. A 3-0 as the coaching staff from Gladiators dropping trash in the chat. They are at match point. They are looking to take this with a clean sweep. They say, we know you have been on a win streak, but we are ending it in decisive fashion here today.
Yeah, Shock right now, they have to climb out of that bin. They have to get the reverse sweep now. It wasn't a reverse sweep scenario before, but now it unfortunately is. Push comes up next. Most likely going to be seeing Coliseum, but it is good for both teams. Shock may need to consider going to New Queen Street instead, taking the Gladiators to somewhere a little bit less familiar. That ended up being a major macro win for the LA Gladiators. Arns came up big time. All the doubts evaporated. Gone now. Arns is back, baby, and the Gladiators are up 3-0.
Absolutely beautifully done so far here from the side of the Gladiators, and we were teeing this up going into this map, and now it has become an unfortunate reality for the Shock. They need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to be victorious, if they want to be holding their heads high at the end of this as the champions of the Midseason Madness, our first international tournament here in the 2022 season. Otherwise, they might just be going out not with a roar, but with a whimper. The Gladiators hungry for the win. We'll see if they can close it out as we once more go to a Shock map pick for push.
Pataphan's story is just like one of the best in Overwatch.
It's going to be Pataphan that tries to let him go straight away. It's going to be a nano attack from him as well. A lot of damage on the back line. And there it is. 4 kills from Pataphan. Jaw hits the ground. Even he can't believe it. He comes up with the ace. And look at the pressure come off his shoulders.
He was able to take those struggles early on in stage, improve and reiterate his game, and finally just figure it out.
Big one there for Pataphan. It's for 2. Beautiful.
The bubble and Pataphan going a little bit lower than he so chooses. But still Kevster routing the Dallas Fuel. He comes back, right it. The visor from Pataphan on the back. The big grab from Harbin, the nade on top. But the Gladiators are just tearing them apart.
He's up on the high ground. He's just
Can't get to the port and they can't do it. The Gladiators have done it. A 4-0.
and you can tell how much this means for Pataphan.
And welcome back with Pataphan stepping back in. He is once more going to be looking to lift a trophy. But first, before we can focus on him and the rest of the Gladiators are now at match point, let's take a closer look at the Widowmaker battle here on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Yeah, and you have to remember as well, there was a period of time where Kilo actually hopped off the Widowmaker. I don't know if he was feeling the heat, didn't want that smoke anymore, but Arns, man, this guy has been piping hot on Gibraltar today. The scope has been landing shots, nearly double the scoped critical hit accuracy, 29 to 15. 5 more final blows, includes 7 more scoped critical hits there as well with a bunch more damage, obviously lower deaths. Widowmaker is in the hands of Arns. He is the OG Widowmaker in terms of original dominance that we saw in earlier seasons. It took a while for Arns to come on back, but my god, Ilios, what a game to do it on. The grand finals for Arns to step up.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of, I think, deserved scrutiny for the most part of Ons in some of his performances when he has been coming through in this event. But like you said, this is the moment. This is where it matters the most, and it can shut up the people who are saying that, this guy is washed, he should retire. Anybody who's saying those things, you should retire as well, because your bronze placements in a ladder season aren't good enough. So just quit if you can't do a good performance one day. No, Ons, he still has that talent. He just hasn't been able to tap into it, but the magic words were spoken. Ons on Sniper. He woke up, Sleeper Agent was activated, and he absolutely destroyed the Shock time and time again.
Yeah, Shock put him on the Glads, thought he was their Sleeper Agent, but nope. Arns swapped sides. He's donning the purple armor now. Patty will be coming in a hot second for the next map. It is Arns coming in to win his favored escort, and there will be another escort if the series goes deep enough, but that's exactly what the Shock have to do. The good news is, by the time we get to a next escort, if we even do get there, has to be a Circuit Royale. The Shock cannot make the mistake of going to a map like Gibraltar again. Obviously, Gibraltar will be out of the pool now. Dorado's still in there. Circuit Royale is far too good to pass up. And the LA Gladiators on the victory march now. 3 straight maps in a row. Violet looking for another chip. Shock looking for another chip. All these rookies on this team looking for their first ever championship in the Overwatch League. But it's the LA Gladiators that have won the Kickoff Clash, defending champions, looking like they might go back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to the Kickoff Clash, and Shock knocked down to the lower bracket, defeated by the Dallas Fuel, falling shy of being able to make it into the grand final. Now they find themselves here, and that pressure is very real. That can very much affect you when you are a rookie player. This is the highest staked match that you have been playing in, and yeah, it's not just the trophy, it's not just the accolades and everything that you are playing for. You are also playing for a massive cash prize of $500,000, doubling the money if you can make it out of this being the champions. And right now, it just does not look great. We have to just wait and see, though. A reverse sweep is what is necessary for the side of the Shock if they want to be walking away with the maximum points, with the maximum cash in their pockets.
Yep. I gotta say as well, Shock have had every single map pick. They have first seed coming in. Ilios was their choice. A map that Glads very much enjoy going to, enables them to play Lucio. 4 finding Astro was the key map that got them the win versus the Spark as well in previous matches in this tournament. Shock take us to Eichenwalde, which, to be fair, that is their signature map, but it was also a map that they are expected to win. Not winning with their key diva pick from Kaluj on Eichenwalde is catastrophic. Then going to map 3, high expectations to take us back to Circuit Royale, where Proper popped off on that Sojin, 20-something final blows, out of, I think, 28 eliminations, so he basically got all the kills. Kilo was defeating Arns handedly on that map as well. We go to Gibraltar instead, something that Reiner would love to play. LA Gladiators just beat the Atlanta Reign very convincingly on that map. And now finally, the map choice between New Queen Street and Colosseo, and this is where I said earlier, Colosseo, I don't know what it is about this map. The Gladiators, no matter how far behind they are, and Shock capped over 100 meters versus Gladiators on this map yesterday, doesn't matter. Gladiators still came back and got the win. Same thing happens versus Atlanta, still came back, got the win. Shock is like, we're gonna dodge it. We are going to dodge it, but what we notice here as well, you'll see that pushes map number 7. If Shock want a reverse sweep, we are gonna have to end on Colosseo one way or the other. For now, Shock trying to stay above water. Keep alive in the series. Proper, if you want that MVP, you need to start winning now.
Absolutely, and just hasn't been finding the same amount of heavy impact that we were seeing, on Ilios, which was so very close between the two teams. Saw him very much putting the team on his back, but hasn't had the same amount of impact.
Not really
now
his maps.
Into New Queen Street. Yeah.
I mean, we could probably say that Eichenwalde probably was one of them. Again, the Sojourn on circuit would have been insane. Played some decent Genji there, but it was really a map of snipers, right? When we talk about Watchpoint Gibraltar, it's a map between Kilo and Arns fighting for supremacy. Shu as well, so impactful on that map. And now onto New Queen Street, where Mikey, the substitution, has to come on in for this ball to make it work. We are also, by the way, seeing Kilo on towards the Ash. I love this. This is exactly what we see from MN3 and the Philadelphia Fusion where they dominate here. I think this is a great map for the Ash. Kevster on the Tracer, Patty on the Hanzo. That is going to be a bit of a swap up. Patty normally does play the Sojourn as well.
We've seen Hanzo on this map a couple times, few and far between, but yeah, no Sojourn. A little bit interesting to see here. Gonna maybe catch them off guard a little bit with this pickup.
And I don't think the Ash is really within Patapan's hero pool either, so this is going to be something that Shock can do. Like, Gladiators are not going to be able to match. They always run the Doom here, whereas I think in recent games that we've seen for New Queen Street, the ball has been preferable. Kevster goes into kill first.
Yeah, and there's going to be the follow-up. Reiner getting on top of Proper. Seismic slam onto him. Maybe the punch either way gets the kill confirmed. Finn under some fire as Kevster goes flying forward. Will be slept, but can anyone get a punish? Looks like the answer is going to be no, and as I say that, Finn will. Okay, got Reiner as well. Taken out. A good answer back. The bot for Howard pushing forward. 23 meters established here for the side of the Gladiators. The Shock will be able to answer back off the back of Finn's picks.
And we'll see who gets the first checkpoint reached as well. New Queen Street, unlike Colosseo, very much easier to find that checkpoint than Colosseo. So maybe both teams will get it. Reiner with another kill. Yeah, that's another first blood for Glads.
Reiner having a number, and that's slowing up Proper a hell of a lot here. Only 68% on that ult charge. Kevster about to have the pulse bomb online as once more the Gladiators take control of the bot. Going to be gaining some additional distance, and I guess tell you what, right now, if you are a Shock fan watching, you better be giving your energy in the chat because they absolutely need it.
Get your chakras aligned. So far, Shock only have 2 final blows. Both of them are onto Finn.
They are. Kevster playing around the back. Presence known though. Starting to sneak forward, gets on top of Kilo, and look at the dive coming through. They're going to have the nano hands. But there is the stick to put him in the grave. They say, ult speed, damn, you are not keeping him in this fight. Proper will finally get his hands dirty, taking down Shu. A key pickup, but Skew once more. Finding an elimination for himself, takes out Proper. The bot getting shipped back here. But now Patty gets the kill here on the Finn. The Transcendence popped, Skewed, keeping everybody alive. Discord Orb out onto Mikey. He's going to have to make his exit in the bot once more, in control of the Gladiators, continuing to advance forward as Violet goes down to the back end. A massive stagger.
We begin.
And just more value on the ultimates there as well. I mean, Violet had to use the nano onto, I believe it was Kilo, just to keep him alive, and then the pulse bomb deletes him anyway. So Gladiators just outplaying Shock and their ultimate usage. Proper finally gets a kill, but goes down straight away. Reiner on 1 HP and lives. He couldn't get cleaned up. He's pretty low again, but can he actually go down here? Mikey looking for the minefield in the next fight. And this will be disastrous for Kilo. Kilo has to live. He's got the bomb.
Oh, Patty, he does get taken out by Kilo, but he let the Dragon Strike loose and does still manage to find that elimination from beyond the grave. A 2 for 2 thus far. Mikey still alive, rolling out, rotating over, trying to grab the health pack that is not there. And in the meantime, the bot is going to be able to hit the checkpoint here in just a moment as the cleanup looks to come through. Skewed taken down by the minefield, and actually it does get denied here the very last second with Mikey rolling back over. So the forward spawn's not going to be found. couple cleanup kills here for the side of the Shock, so they open up a bit of distance, but it's a hell of a lot of distance for them to try to claw back.
It's huge from Shock, actually, preventing the push from coming on in for the extra capture point. Like I sort of said, prevents, first of all, Gladiators from confirming the stall on the payload, which gets removed the next time they go forward, but also removes Gladiators from obtaining further forward spawns as well. So Glads respawn much further back, allowing Shock now positioned to play on in. And this Bob needs to be saved until they can threaten their own cap. Yeah, he's just got to use it then.
Never mind. It's just going to get used. Skew does get dropped. Proper finding one on the roll through. Takes down Patty.
Glads reset.
Once more going to be advancing forward now for the side of the Shock. 17 meters climbing. See how far this goes.
This is the problem. Use the Bob now. You don't have the Bob for the actual important fight, which is capping the actual checkpoint. This is the fight you have to win. Glads can just reset. They say, you use Bob, we back out, we regroup as 5, we take a fight now with our ultimates, and they have a Nano online. Mikey Low. Shock might not be able to cap now.
Yeah, they might not, especially with that pulse bomb not connecting. That is going to be the Gladiators once more taking control. Fit does shut down Kevster though. Kilo gets a nice headshot once more, going to be nanoed up. Hiding around the backside of the bot, putting some shots there into the backside of Reiner, who's now going to be taking a nap. Does have the Meteor Strike, but as they wake him up, he is dead immediately. So cannot use it. The Shock do manage to turn this fight on its head. Proper continuing to clean up, getting both of the supports on the back end. The checkpoint absolutely obtainable for the Shock. They will take the lead.
Yeah, and especially with the Reiner going down there as well, couldn't Meteor Strike, slept, and then just kind of boomed by, I think it was Finn, putting the volley in there, rather. LA Gladiators losing a bunch of members there, so Shock, despite losing Mikey, the 4v5, they actually outplay the Gladiators. And despite the Gladiators having ultimates available, couldn't quite get them in there. Again, great sleep dart onto Reiner. Checkpoint means everything in this game.
That does now playing around with the forward spawns. Kilo again finding a kill. Patty going to be taken down. Kevster slinking around the back. Would love to get an elimination, but at this point, with how many losses they have suffered, 4 people going down, just has to hold on to the pulse bomb.
Glad have to pass.
They look to retake this, but yeah, this is looking a little bit rough for them.
Killers, there's 2 fights in a row where Glads unfortunately aren't able to get a transcend. They're losing members. Skew's thinking about the situation, like I could trans, but maybe our numbers are too low, and then he just ends up dying with the trans 2 fights in a row in a situation that does not favor the Gladiators, and they have to start winning these fights. Mines are deleted.
Kevster finally invests the pulse, doesn't find a stick, doesn't find a kill. The transcendence this time is going to be used. Kevster managing to get on top of Finn, finds that kill. Proper though answering back alongside Mikey. A 2-for-1 trade up here for the side of the Shock as they maintain bot control in this forward position. They're looking for a little bit more, and Skew's got nowhere to go. Gets taken down. Reiner able to find Violet with a punch at the very end, but it's then quickly dealt with on the back end. The Shock continue to gain distance, or can.
Kev's keeping this one alive
right now. They're trying to clean up Kevster, and they will.
Well, they can't because too many members went down. They actually started to see Shock dropping members. Great job by Kevster to hold on to the actual point, preventing it from pushing forward. Now will push on forward, but Reiner goes in to contest. 82 meters. Glads have to prevent this from hitting 90.
Patty again swapping over to the Sombra. Desperate measures called out for here in desperate times. The Shock go ahead and concede the bot. Very comfortable, the amount of distance that they have, as well as still holding on to those forward spawns. Need to hit the midway point for those to be taken away. Kilo
look at Shock though. What do you nano?
A little bit of harassment coming through. Kilo, he's by himself. Now going to be hacked, but it looks like the healing is going to be good enough. The peel is there. They managed to keep him alive, and the pod is not going to be moving forward here for the side of the Glads. Now Shu taken down. Kilo really finding his footing on this Ash, where he could not on Gibraltar. Comes up with another massive kill. Shu taken down.
I can see that Kilo's input on the Ash is really, really high when Glads can't really do much about it. He's done 30% of his team's damage so far. A lot of final blows. And the Shock continually holding control on this payload. Shu going down the last fight, no nano. Violet Source and nano available. Reiner has to get out with his media.
Semi-aggressive, does drop forward. Over towards the members of the Shock. Kevster onto that opening pick, and now the supports are going to be taken down. Nice double kill here for the Tracer, the Glads. Seismic Slam, Reiner getting a little bit of green HP will lead to the kill on the Kilo. Gladiators finally taking control back at the bot, and now the amount of kills that they did find can open things up, can deny these forward spawns, and potentially gain some distance.
Yeah, once they get past the midpoint, that's as the forward spawns going away. So Proper's the only one that doesn't get forward spawns. You see that he's just on the back right now from all the way in Shock HQ. The Shock can still contest this, so this is not going to be an easy situation to camp. We're waiting for the Patapan EMP to come on through. It needs to land on the double support lines. Kilo can also block this with a Bob, so a lot that the Shock can use.
Oh, okay, well, Shu throws the sleep, bails out of the high ground. Just leaving Mikey there as Finn uses the Transcendence. The bomb gonna be thrown down. Runs into the back, goes right alongside the bus, but Gladiators still managing to trade up. Kilo and Violet both getting taken down. Mikey hacked. So they say, okay, let's just keep moving this bot forward as best as possible. Proper's the only one keeping it contested here for the moment. Does manage to find an elimination, taking down the Zenyatta, but it's quickly taken down.
supports.
Will also get taken down. Proper again, just ducking and diving around, trying to keep this bot locked into place, but he does his damnedest. It's not going to be good enough. It will manage to make it into the checkpoints, and the forward spawns are there.
Yeah, they have to back out now. Look, they don't have supports because Shu and Skew died in that fight. Look at how far away Skewed is.
You're right.
Shu has only just managed to get towards mid, so Proper, he saves the shock there. He single-handedly kills, like, I think 3 players, including the supports. So the trades matter for the shock there. It's not enough that the Gladiators win the fight. They have to win the fight cleanly without dropping members. Otherwise, you have to back out.
Well, they did get the checkpoint at the very least. Not gonna wait that one out. Bot being shipped back as Patty sneaks around the back.
Just Patty. No one there to help him.
Making some calls, trying to go for this dive. Reiner kind of getting bogged as he goes for it. The sleep connects. What a shutdown! Violet stays safe, and Patty, he's just got to translocate the hell out of there. Shock once more, winning up the fight cleanly. The dive does not come to fruition for the Gladiators.
Achilles, if the EMP does not win a clean fight for the Gladiators where they have 5 alive, Shock should have this one in the bag. A 30-meter advantage. The cap was there for the Gladiators, so we're not going to enter the stall mode for the bot a little bit later on. That's the one thing that's good for the Gladiators. They have ultimates, but they don't have Kevster. They need Kevster for the dive.
Yeah, he's trying to set up a play perhaps with that pulse bomb to open the fight, take down a support, but he's unable to do so.
EMP or nothing.
Finn, currently without that Transcendence, there's the recall proper, just denying Patty the damage. Overtime starting to bleed away. Gladiators have so much distance to cover. Bot right now hovering around the midpoint. Patty Pan
no EMP.
Having to jump away.
He backed out.
To be used, and Ryder is going to be taken down. Opening kill found. Skewed falling lower and lower. Shu trying to dump some healing into that Zenyatta to keep him alive. Kepster does manage to find one, takes out Kilo, but the trade back is swift and it is brutal. Proper finds 2. Finn finds Shu. The OT bleeds away, and we are not done yet. This is the first in several necessary steps if the Shock want to be victorious here today. But they get it done on their map pick here on New Queen Street. They fight back. They deliver unto us a series, not going down without a fight.
Amazing map choice from the San Francisco Shock. I did not enjoy that we went to Gibraltar, but this one really does please me. New Queen Street, we get to see the Mikey ball, very relevant for this map. Kilo on the Ash as well. That's a nod to APAC. Those strats came straight from the Fusion. M3 looking down there on Tequila with a bit of a smile there. I mean, fantastic on New Queen Street. You could see that there was nothing to contest Kilo. No long-range damage. Patty goes from the Hanzo to the Sombra, and the final EMP, I don't know if you saw it, but it was completely invisible. He dies to mines. EMP did absolutely nothing. Kevster dies the final fight as well. And the LA Gladiators, they're not going to get a clean 4-0. They want this one. We're going to have to go further.
That we are. Firm handshakes between the orange-themed teams, Shock and Fusion on New Queen Street, looking great. Yeah, I mean, they managed to get that win. Now, though, the thing that is going to be a little bit concerning is that they are out of map picks. They need to continue to win back and forth over and over again, get a reverse sweep on the Gladiators map selections. We'll see where they decide to take us for control when we return from the break, but do not go anywhere, guys. Shock looking alive. Can they continue it? Can they carry this forward and make it a 3-2 scoreline after the next map? We're going to find out in just a few minutes. And we are back. We have a series here. Not going to be the 4-0 sweep that the Gladiators were so very much looking for. Still are in pole position to get a victory here, however. The Shock, they take the first step in several to try and pull off a reverse sweep.
The young Proper on your screen right here said in between the maps after losing on Gibraltar that if he wants that MVP, he's got to step it up. And on that last map for New Queen Street, Proper had 18 final blows out of a total of San Francisco Shock's 40. 2 away from deadlifting. Kevster on 11, 7 down from Proper, and the San Francisco Shock, once again, a fantastic map choice. New Queen Street, brilliant read as well compositionally. Ball and Ash so prevalent on that map, and the Gladiators, unfortunately, without Arns in that lineup for this particular map, Patty's choices realistically are most likely the Sojourn. That would have been pretty decent if you really want to try and shove it into Kilo. Sombra so far has just been not very, what's a nice way of saying it? Just it's not been a very highly performing hero. Let's say that. The EMP of the M, absolutely no impact. No dives as well. I mean, you see so many situations where Patapan wants to get a hack dive in on a backline target, but Reiner and Kevster too far away. Can't help him with that. The Sombra itself is typically not enough. And even then, when Kevster goes on in, that play from Violet, I believe, instantly outplaying Kevster. And LOS on Patapan, where Patapan can't see him because he fully LOSs. So he isolates a 1v1 from a 1v2 situation and then lives, and Patapan has to back out. The Doom as well is a hero that Reiner obviously favors, but has not been, in my opinion, as strong a New Queen Street as heroes like Ball.
Well, we'll see what they have cooked up for us here as we get ready to go into another map of Control. Obviously, a couple substitutions with Sam stepping back in. Still have Patty, and then Funny Astro will be rejoining, so likely to see some of more of those Lucio antics that he has been just utterly dominant on. Let's just wait to see, though, what the map is going to be.
And here, you know, again, map drafting analysis from my side says that Oasis would have been the pick for Shock if it was their map choice. They love to go towards that map. But when you look towards the Glads, the one thing that sticks out is you need Lucio maps. So Ilios and Lijiang Tower are the correct choices from them. Ilios was already picked as map number 1. Funny Astro gets to come on in again. When Astro came in on pretty much all the previous series, he wins for the LA Gladiators. So this could be the potential for a 4 versus 1 finish with the map choice going towards the Gladiators, and it will go towards the Gladiators for the remainder of the series. Being that they are 3-0 up, or now 3-1 up, Shock will not have a map choice for the rest of the series, and any Lucio map is going to be incredibly good for the Glads.
Yep. Well, only a 25% win rate on their map picks here in the series for the Shock. Not great. The stage very much set against them. Odds stacked against them as well. We'll have to see. It's going to be Lijiang Tower, as you were alluding to here, for our next Control map, as the Gladiators still look to close this out. 4-1, still an incredibly respectable scoreline in the grand final if they can make it happen. Shock, however, are looking to do the nigh impossible in continuing a reverse sweep, take another step towards that trophy. With Proper, the rest of the squad heating up on that last map, seems like they should have some wind in their sails, but now we turn our sights over to the substitution on the side of Shock. Sam, who did not have the greatest run on the maps that we saw him initially, needs to level up alongside the rest of this roster if they want to continue this reverse streak run.
And on specifically either Sojourn or the Echo here, that's been, I think, 2 of his primary picks so far in this tournament. The reason why Shock would have preferred to go to Oasis had it been their map pick is you deny Funny Astro from rejoining the roster for a Control map. So Lijiang Tower, great for Lucio, Oasis not so much. When we look towards future maps, you did see that Escort was going to come up next. The important thing about knowing what is up next is that because it's Glad's pick, they are not going to take us to Circuit. So Shock have lost the ability to pick Circuit now for the remainder of the series. Let's focus on this game, though. This is one that Shock need to take step by step. They still have to win this before we can talk about Escort in more detail. It's going to be the Reiner Doomfist again. Lucio for Funny Astro as expected. Sam coming through on the Echo. Again, that's just been his signature.
During the lobby, there was a couple questions with Funny Astro rejoining, and he said, oh, you know, more Finn Lucio. Finn said yes, obviously just telling a little bit of a lie. Not going to be committing into that. It's going to be sticking with this Zenyatta that was looking quite good for him on that last map. Patapan already going to be taken down. Proper finding first blood once more. Good opening kill as Finn will be able to strike down Reiner. And the Gladiators going to be heading for the hills, but the Shock are deep in pursuit. Clean pickups here on these kills. Go ahead and get some staggers, and Shock once more will be able to take the control point first.
4-0 there in terms of kills to death, so Shock didn't lose anybody. 4 frags. Patapan comes back on a sub, but this is now going to be the time when you have to ask, is this going to be working for the Gladiators? Is it 3rd time running now? To be fair, I think they did get this on Ilios. I can't remember if they actually ran it initially, but the hack on the proper, no connection from the rest of the dive.
Yeah, the shot's not really even coming across from Patapan, so it doesn't even get too much as far as the EMP charge is concerned. Mike's going to be taking a nap here on the point. Reiner gets on top of Violet, but Finn answers back, finds Kevster now. Shu eliminated. That's the support's gone. The pile driver from Mikey waking up and turning things into a nightmare for Funny Astro. Reiner needs to try to survive this. He's just so very low. Rotates out. Help back, not there. They pile in, they get the kill. Shock should be able to hold the point from here. Patapan just contesting it for a moment, but has to translocate out.
Here we go, Glad's now coming with the rest of the team, still waiting for ultimates to come on in. Nano is about to be up, hack onto Mikey.
Pulse finds one, Kevster getting an opening kill. Mikey gonna be antied out, still hacked, trying to stay alive, and eventually does get hounded down, so finally the Gladiators will be able to get this flip. Proper only able to find Funny Astro here on the back end, looks to make his exit out. Pops the recall, now puts himself in a bit of a bad position, and that's gonna be a stagger. So Gladiators will be able to go ahead and hold this, now at 10%,
oh my God.
Shock 62. What?
Real Torb in the grand finals, by the way. Actual Torb from Sam in the grand finals. This is either 900 IQ or 9 IQ. We're about to find out which one it is. To be fair, the turret is pretty annoying for Kevster and Patapan to deal with, pretty annoying for Reiner to deal with as well.
I'll dive into the back, and yeah, Violet, he's gonna say that's pretty annoying as well. Does get taken down, the Meteor Strike for the exit, it did fall low. Be able to stay alive, been able to clean up 1 kill. But widely the fight goes the way of the Gladiators. Sam's still sticking through with this. We'll see if he's gonna have to make another swap though.
30% ult charge there. So just peppering away at the LA Gladiators. They do call them the 9mm here for a reason. Patapan has the EMP, looking for a much bigger EMP connection that we've got last time in terms of impact, not just the raw number member. Caught.
Jumped on, the EMP coming through, gets a hack on just a couple of members, and the Nano goes out on the Sam, and he manages to find a Funny Astro. There's going to be supports now taken down. The cleanup comes in on the Reiner. So far, the only casualty on the side of the Shock is going to be the turret. Just not anywhere near good enough. Gladiators, they have taken the lead, but they have to concede the point, and the Shock will go ahead and gain control.
From 9mm to the hand cannon there for Sam. San Francisco Shock will take control, like you said, once more. 70% and counting up. And we might actually see this Molten Core as well in the final fight. It should be coming online. Sound barrier available for Gladiators to try and at least mitigate some of that damage. Proper would love to get a connection onto one of these 2 supports.
He's the only ult we have, so holding on to it. Yeah, the beat does come through. Finn down so very low. Kevster gets on top of him now. Violet gone. The cleanup coming through. Shoot picked off at the back end of this fight, but with Proper and Mikey, the only 2 left standing. Seems like it's just a matter of time before the Glad should be able to regain control here. The Shock do have enough time for one last reset, one last fight as they get close to 99%. Won't quite make it there, but if they can get a flip, they should be able to take the round. Gladiators looking to hold.
Yeah, making hay while the sun shines there for the Gladiators. They might have used an early beat, but they will absolutely be able to take advantage of it to run straight at Shock. Shock with no response there. Just a pulse bomb killed the Shu, which is admirable. But LA Gladiators, importantly, get point control. We could be going towards double 99, or in this case, 99 to 98. Still waiting for this Molten Core, seeing if it will have any impact.
Now has it ready to go. He's going to pop it immediately. So they're going to try to zone them out, try to stay alive. Immortality will come through. He's going to drop down aggressively, cleans it up, and Reiner gets the follow-up kill, taking down the entire kit of Sam. Funny Astro traded, however, Proper finding that elimination. Shu now going to be taken down as well. Proper doing incredible work here for the side of the Shock. The support's out of the fight. The flip getting ready to come through the Shock. Might have just done it. Sam playing bait, and there you have it. No contest to be found. The Shock will be able to pull the rug out from beneath the Gladiators, taking night market for themselves.
And when it looks difficult for the Shock, it looks like Glads had the fight win. They were going to get the 1-round lead on Lijiang Tower as well. It's Proper on the back line. Double support kills. Shu and Funny Astro dropping down. Proper doing so much on the Tracer for the San Francisco Shock again. Their star player, when they need him, he gets it done. Look at this.
Let's take a look at it. Pressuring out, and I mean, Funny Astro, I mean, he had his sights turned to the Patty, but he just turns him immediately to the supports as he spots them jumping forward. Clean up. coming through here for this side of the Shock. Not to be too redundant, but now the gates will open as we turn our sights over to Gardens.
Patapan back over towards a Sojourn. I nearly said Sombra. Gotta take those dirty words out of my mouth right now. This Gladiator still, I think, really looking for the maximum value on that Sombra, but unable to find it on the previous round. Sam over towards a Genji now.
Ilios once more for the Shock, but this time it's going to be Violet piloting it. Reiner, the first blood as Mikey cleans up a kill. Sam finding one. It's Proper going to be joining him as well. Patty will be able to get Finn on the back end of the fight, but the point is unlocked. And once more, Shaku, I think, have gotten the lockdown to the point every single time. We'll be able to claim it first and foremost.
Yeah, Proper's on 62 there as well, so we're getting some ultimates online very soon for the San Francisco Shock. Kips is not that far behind, to be fair. Kips are really trying its hardest to get those initiation kills. Mikey has been naded.
It does expire, though. He manages to stay alive. HP bars a bit erect here on the side of the Shock, and Patty will chip away at Proper. The rail good enough to kill. Funny-Astro going to be taken down, however. Mikey finding that elimination. It's going to give Violet now the lead towards the sound barriers. Patty's just doing his damnedest, trying to find something. They get the sleep out. They have the nade down. Mikey gets dropped. Good cleanup kill coming through. Now in control. Only 29% established this time for the side of the Shock as the Gladiators go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, and Rhino stays alive for an unbelievable amount of time there as well, finally going down towards the end, but Shock aren't going to be able to get a point flip or keep control of the point, rather. With just a single kill onto Rhino, they lose Mikey. Importantly, Shu, great sleep dart, like you said. Now the LA Gladiators, starting from Patapan, who gets an initial kill to Prop. I believe it was a railgun connection plus a left click, is going to be enough to enable the 5v4.
Reiner diving forward, pulse bomb going to be lobbed in. Proper not going to be finding anything for that. Kepster still holding on to one of his own. Waiting for a prime target. Nano
Nano
through. Sound barrier going to be dropped in. Violet shielding up the team, and Patty Pan is going to be the first one to fall. Finn, however, going to be punched off into the koi pond. Instead of dying, now the primal does get popped. Reiner able to exit, however. Turns his sights right back over to the point where the Gladiators are still in control. Shu, however, picked off. Funny-Astro still alive, still does hold on to the sound barrier should they think that they could win the fight, but it looks like they are more than happy to concede this, and Funny-Astro will in fact die on the back end for a little bit of stagger.
3 versus 2 committed there. Shock with the 3 ultimates, Glads on 2, so they still hold on to 3 very important. 1 Sam has Blade available, but Funny-Astro can counter. Plenty for the Glads to work through in terms of resources, far less for the Shock, and they need to enable this Sam dive as much as possible. An early beat from Funny-Astro again.
Pulse bomb lobbed in, not going to find that kill. Finn does take down Kevster, who has back turned to him. A 1-for-1 at DPS for a support. Violet now gone, putting that much more pressure on Finn, who's going to be trying to keep Sam alive. Blade gets pulled, finds Patty to start, looks for Shu, wraps around the corner, gets the kill, gets the dash, reset. I'll just put a little bit of damage down on it to Reiner. In fact, will find that kill in the end. Shock able to hold this. The flip was damn near there to the side of the Gladiators, but it gets denied at the end.
And this time, the early sound barrier from Funny-Astro tempo play doesn't work out. They didn't have that for the Blade afterwards. Shock just disengaged. Better yet, Shock, I don't believe, really even lost control of the point there. So they just have to wait the sound barrier out, pull the Blade through. They know there's nothing to counter the Blade, and Sam will get it done. 86%, this is going to be last territory for the Shock.
4 HP. Pops the recall, stays alive. 91% here for the side of the Shock. Anti goes out.
No recall, no recall.
And Violet in dire straits. They need to get healed up. Proper managing to stay alive for a little bit longer. Moves over, grabs the Mega Pack. Mikey, however, going to be eliminated. Proper dashes forward, manages to find Kevs. The flip is there for the side of the Gladiators in the meantime. Shu falling low. The heals start coming through. Funny-Astro keeping him alive. Proper still holding on to this pulse bomb. Has not let it loose yet, but now they find Ryder. They get the stick for the Meteor Strike is there. He makes his exit. Patapan gets Proper with the rail. Gets the elimination. The Nano now expiring. He looks for Finn. He's going to find the kill. Sam off screen takes down Shu. As they are back and forth here in this fight, but the Shock, they need to make a decision. Do they reset or do they continue to fight it out? Looks like the play call is going to be made to go forward. The beat comes in. Finn going to be swapping over onto the Moira as Sam cleans up 2 kills. They're looking for the flip back through once more, and they're going to have it. The touch is there. Reiner this time able to contest it, but he's so very low on HP and ends up dying on the return. Finds the kill. The Blade now coming through. Jumps forward. Gets on top of Shu. Slices and dices him down. It looks for a little bit more. Will be able to clean up Astro. The OT starts to bleed away. Kevster gets the touch. He forces it back up to a full bar, but the cleanup comes in as Proper once more fills the kill feed. And it is a 2-0 on Lijiang Tower to get a second map win. The San Francisco Shock are looking to pull off the reverse sweep. They take another step in the right direction.
Don't get comfortable right now. The second act is when the Sharks start to get really good. They're firing up proper with the insane outplay versus Kepster. Steals the Mega Pack away. On 8 HP, he was anti-naded as well. Still gets those frags. Doesn't quite kill Reiner, but Reiner can't effectively rejoin the fight anyway. The Shark have the boostio onto Violet on purpose just to keep him alive, allows him to find the sound barrier, only connects on 2, but it's enough. It's exactly the 2 unique, as Sam receives the beat as well, finds that Dragon Blade. There's nothing the Gladiators can do about it. You said you wanted to see Sam come in big, and he does just that.
I mean, it was just one of those jukes from Proper where Kevster just trips over his own fate and he falls down flat on the ground, face down. What a play from him. The rest of the team, Sam looking incredible, coming out with that Genji, finding the impact that they so desperately needed from him in those initial early maps. Now the whole team looking fired up, looking unstoppable. We'll see though, the Gladiators still do hold on to match point. It is not tied up yet, but 3-2, the scoreline. Shock. Can they continue to run it back? I do not know, but we are going to find out. Do not go anywhere. This series continues to deliver time and time again. You do not want to miss it. And welcome back. The series continues. Down but not yet out. The San Francisco Shock continue to try to claw things back, hunting for that trophy right there. Midseason Madness. 3-2 to the scoreline. The Gladiators still having match points. Still just need to close out one more map to be victorious and be back-to-back champions in the kickoff clash. Now here in mid-season, the Shock are looking to deny.
San Francisco Shock, they might have to climb this one uphill. Going upstream here for the rest of the series. If it has to be a reverse sweep, they have to do it against the wind, as the LA Gladiators have every single map pick for the remainder of the series. It ends up being, though, that the Shock do indeed win one of those map picks. Lijiang Tower, very important to the LA Gladiators. You had Lucio there for Funny Astro. Could have been the ending, 4-1. But despite everything, the Shock will pull on through. In fact, it is Violet's Lucio in the final moments that will allow the Shock to be able to get that map win.
And it is. And now the substitutions coming back through. We saw Kilo starting to heat up there on New Queen Street, having an immense amount of impact with the Ash. Needs to do that once more. Got the opening kill on Ons on Gibraltar, but after that, didn't find nearly as much impact. So Ons should be heated up. He should be ready to come back into this. It's all about Kilo stepping up to the plate and looking to shut him down.
And let's talk about maps as well in terms of, again, map drafting analysis here. We actually do not have a push for the map 7. You can see the icon down below. Next is going to be Escort. We're going to finish this one onto Hybrid. So there is not going to be the key Coliseo pick for the LA Gladiators on map number 7 should we get there. Now, Dorado is going to be our next map. Important to note because it is not Circuit Royale. Gladiators, there's no way they take us to Circuit. That should have been Shock's map pick a little bit early on. We went to Gibraltar, Shock were punished for it, and now, again, Shock have to win on more Gladiators map picks. Kilo has to redeem himself here as well because Arns has come back in. We talked about how important Arns was going to have to be in the series. He won Gibraltar, or at least he was a major impact in terms of winning Gibraltar for his team. It's going to be another sniper battle. It's going to be more escort sniper action. And Kilo cannot fall prey to Arns again. If Arns pulls his weight and does the deed, this is going to be a Glads championship.
Let's see if it comes to fruition here and now. The Shock can, in fact, take us to that 7th final map of Hybrid. Maybe it's just that both these teams are so well prepared to counter-strat their opponents on their map picks that this is just what happens. That you can't win on your own selection, but you can win on your opponents. We'll have to just wait and see if
usually the other way around.
Yes.
It's typically that we've seen so far in the series, you know, it's been back and forth. We haven't had, well, we've had a reasonable number of sweeps. We had a lot of map 5s, and the reason we have a lot of map 5s is because map selection does matter. There is a strategy behind it. And as we tee this matchup up, Kilo versus Arns, Proper and Kevster back over towards the Genji. Now, Proper has been much better on the Tracer than the Genji today. Proper also needs to be able to step it up on the Genji to continue the series for the Shock.
Spotting Ons there for just a moment. The timing slightly off for him to be able to find that kill, and Ons gets tagged down low, I believe, from Violet. And Kilo will find an opening kill. Ons gets a dig across onto a single player, but not going to be enough for an elimination. And with the Ana gone, that opens up a hell of a lot of space. But it's going to be sad. Ons does go ahead, get involved as well, also claiming the life of an enemy support.
You look at the payload positioning, right? Shock want to actually get this one through the archway. That's the important thing. Now they'll wait for the respawns. It's back to a 5v5. Very important for Arns to trade that pick eventually because you can't have Gladiators on that 4v5 giving up free space. And plenty of free space has already been given. So, opportunities now. Look at Kilo's ult charge as well. Sniper Jolt will go awry for both of them so far.
Neither really nailing any connections onto the other. Turning their sights towards the not Widowmaker players on either team. Kevster gets on top of Violet.
Whoa.
Ashes through to find Proper as well. Massive plays here from Kevster. 3! Desperately looking for a target. He's not going to be able to find it. Kevster does come up with 3, as you say, taking down Kilo on the back end. With a little bit of damage down onto Mikey, but that is going to be the cart halted for now.
Really important there. Let's take a look at Kevster again. Starts us off on the back line. Low HP into Violet. Sees the low HP Proper result, does not allow him to reset. Then obviously we did catch on the camera the 3rd and final kill. That one was just for fun as, well, Shock were already on their way to resetting from there. Importantly for the next fight, Kilo is going to have an earlier infra site. Gladiators, very difficult to respond to that when Arns does not have the ultimate. Finn will also have the first nano. So they can push with nano and infra site at the same time. And Glads are going to be in trouble. Ryder's very low HP as well.
Kilo on the hunt. Here's the shots coming through. Gets one tag on, taken down. Mikey gets on top of him. Finds that elimination, and there's the Infrasight pop now. The enemy Widow out of the fight. A minute
She was the Nano. There it is.
remaining. Here's the shock. Try to keep things moving forward. The Nano comes out. Proper has to make his exit. Sitting here on the ceiling, but oh man, what a set play. Jumps up over the top, gets the zap. Shu nails him with the ante. Nice little combo coming through. Now the Primal gonna be popped. Just juggling Hilo up into the sky, and Hans escapes and he takes him down. Beautifully done. Diving to the back, just looking for any additional that they can possibly get. They take Violet low. They should be able to confirm this kill in the end. Takes back to grab the mini pack, and maybe it's not going to be good enough yet.
Oh, hang on, the trance.
In the meantime,
What's going on here?
Scoot is juggled well away from the rest of the team.
Scoot's out of position. He's very out of
Trying to push
position.
forward, trying to save him, but they cannot do so. He gets taken down. Kempster now pulling the blade, trying to turn this fight around, spare them some blushes, but it's 2 members dead for just Kilo off the back of the Dragon Blade.
Why was Skewed so aggressive? You have to play the back throw, allow Ryder to go in with the Primal. He can save himself. He's a Winston with 1,000 HP. No reason for Skewed to be that far up. Yes, he got pushed in by Mikey's Primal, but for Mikey's Primal to even put him there, Skewed already has to be very far. Gladiators, they had an advantage, and now they've lost everything. They're struggling to find space. Arns has to get a kill.
He's looking for it. Puts a little bit of damage down on the Mikey. He's discorded up, so can't really start to rip away that HP bar, but so far, he isn't finding too many sightlines proper. Sliding along the rooftops. There's a couple shurikens into the back here of Shu. The blade now going to be pulled. Misses on the dash, but the second swipe will manage to find the kill. And the Kempster taken down as well as Kilo. Got a nice headshot. The card advancing forward. That should be the cap coming in from the side of the shock, but the time bank did get drained down considerably.
Wow.
The 244 for the second stretch here.
Stagger kill to Reiner there as well, but I have to, again, question mark what Gladiators were doing off the back of Reiner's dive. Reiner himself had made the fine play. You have to respond with Nano when you're a player down. Right, cool shock, have a 5v4. Glads have ultimates. You are trading a kill for an ultimate. That's an exchange that works for the Gladiators. They technically win the fight, but once you lose the trance, once you lose Skewed, San Francisco Shock are snowballing off that one play all the way to a cap, and now they have ultimates. They played the blade. Semi-successful, doesn't matter. They had enough kills anyway. We're on towards B. And here comes Kilo with the Infrasight. It's not going to be answered.
No, it's not. Widely ignoring the Winston, but now they look for the setup. There's the headshot, the Nano immediately in response from Shu, making sure they can keep him alive. And now he dives forward, does have that Primal Rage ready to go, and he's going to let it loose. He's looking for a kill on a Finn, but Kilo, he's turned his sights over. It's going to be a trade out on the Honest, but now so pointless are the Gladiators with Skewed falling. Reiner just juggling Violet back over towards the spawn room. He doesn't make his way in there.
Staggering himself.
Still does manage to make his way out to safety. And the cleanup comes through. Violet taking a couple squats as they start moving forward with the cart.
Yeah, get those brick legs working. Gladiators, they primal in response. The Nano, great save onto Reiner. You'll have to remember that's a forced Nano there as well, because otherwise Reiner might have been dead from the sleep dart. In either case, the rest of the Gladiators went down. Reiner, despite being alive due to the primal, that just becomes a self-stagger. And Shock now getting maximum distance on this payload push. Primal from Mikey to push away Skewed.
Yeah.
Make his face though.
Juggling back that. Oh boy, well this could be bad. Yep. All right, flew a little too close to the sun, but he's offered up an immense amount of space. So they get the cart right in front of point B, but still just have a minute remaining to try to get over the line.
Mikey now going over towards the ball, so the next defense will be a ball play. Instead, we're looking towards high ground control from either squad here. Glad's obviously defending, going to have access to that first. Popper and Kilo there. This is a really good angle for Kilo to work through, though. You have to be careful your Skewed. You can see that Skewed is just across from Kilo.
Oh,
and he's actually going to find Kevster. I was saying Skewed might have been in trouble, but it's Kevster instead.
That's the blade out of the fight. If they can push the go button right now and get this cart moving forward, they have a big window of opportunity to try to capitalize. They start making it move up, and Kilo gets Skewed. Proper gets on top of Ons as well. He shuts down the Infrasight. Now they lose all of their info. Pile driver into the corner. Shu is completely locked in. And there you go. They manage to start up the fight beautifully. They don't have to use any ultimates for it either. Shock now. Another minute and a half added as they go for the final stretch of Dorado.
It's just a great amount of snowballing coming on through. Right, Kilo with the further picks. And you know, we said that Arns had Kilo's number on Gibraltar. This time, Kilo has definitely been the top fragger. 6 final blows to Arns 2. So Arns is yet to kind of light Kilo up, and he needs to. And San Francisco Shock are making some decent progress through the map. Here comes that Infrasight now.
Yeah, I mean, such a massive advantage here. Kilo is waiting. Kempster spotting out.
Glad's back out.
Through the glass there. Now the blade going to be pulled. He goes diving into the back line, and it's matched by Reiner, so they manage to Goomba Stomp Finn to death. Violet nowhere to go, ends up falling. Mikey slept for the moment. Gonna need to reset or exit. He will go for a pile driver and just give his life. As it's 50 seconds left. San Francisco Shock, 4 ultimates ready to go for the final push. But the kills.
Yeah, that stagger's actually kind of huge from Rhino, so that's going to be extra time bought. So San Francisco Shock are definitely down to a single fight with not a lot of setup to go through. Still ends up being a worthwhile trade for Gladiators, though. You see a situation where the Infrasight is traded for 2 ultimates. Shock can still play through with 4 minutes and cap this, so in terms of economics, it's okay.
Forward minefield, just looking to gain some space as they try to enter. Kilo swapping over to the Sojourn. Now the rally coming out from Violet. They group up around him. Shots flying to deflect, now going to be burned. There is the nano boost. That Blade getting pulled. Anti out onto it, but he still manages to find the kill. On to On. Sets up for Mikey to get the double kill onto the supports. Reiner, a rude awakening as he is struck down. It is a team kill. They might have an opportunity to maybe touch back in, but it's On's the first one to respawn. As the Widowmaker, not going to be good enough. Kevster now swapping over onto the Tracer, needs to get there in due time. Dashes forward just shy of 2 meters left. The Transcendence Skewed escorting the rest of the team forward. Pile driver from Mikey not going to connect, but now On's going to take it down as he swaps over onto the Soldier. The sleep is there. He gets woken up. The Primal does get popped. Violet juggled around a bit there in the back lines. The Discord Orb still focus fired onto the brink, but he's not taking any damage. Skewed taken down. Shu once more eliminated, and as the Primal expires, Reiner's life will as well. The cleanup coming in, the finish comes through. The Shock, they get to the end of the map.
Expertly calculated by the Shock there. They have, again, we have to rewind one of these fights here. It's an Infrasight traded for, I believe it was 2 ultimates, one from Kevster and one from Reiner. And you have the San Francisco Shock holding on to 4. Kilo goes towards the Soldier. He knows that they're not setting up for a long battle there. You don't have to snipe. You're just going in for a major ultimate brawl. Final fight territory. We don't need to have a big time bank here. The goal is to finish with any time remaining. 0 seconds. Absolutely fine for an escort. Now, they'll be able to use those 4 ultimates to perfection, proper getting so many. I believe they had 5 kills to no deaths there as well. So a complete team wipe while the rest of the Shock are entirely alive. They don't have to rely on respawners because they got all 5 there. And the Gladiators desperately trying to touch with everything they've got. Skewed, by the way, his Transcendence does not save Kevster. Kev touches first, dies to a shield bash from Violet, and you're instantly down 4v5. The Transcendence comes on in, but the healing wasn't enough. The healing might not have even touched. Kevster might have just died too quickly.
Huge moves here from the side of the Shock, and I mean, clearly learning from that Gibraltar experience because they piloted around On so perfectly well, never really allowing him to get into a position where he had the sightline advantage. They managed to make it to the finish. Let's see if they can do that now on the defense once more, but if they can continue to really just circumnavigate him, that's a lot of the firepower taken away from the Gladiators.
Again, line drawn in the sand here. Shock 3 caps, or rather, 3 caps, full map completion here. Looking to take us to map number 7, which, if I was to guess, would have to be Midtown. That would be the next best map choice for the Gladiators, but still opportunities to take us to a time bank here. Again, looking at Arns, looking at Kilo. Proper will get his counterpart and Kipster first.
Yep. Bit
of a slowdown for Glads.
Still just inching this card forward as much as they can. Proper will drop down, go for the contest, looking to clear out the bubble here. Get away that added layer of protection, and immediately gets his sights. Gets sights set on him by Skewed, takes a bit of damage, has to pull back around the corner. Mikey's still occupying the high ground as Ons looks for an opening kill. Solfin there for just a moment. It's a shot across on the Mikey. Now takes a much more.
Oh, that's gotta be a kill!
Misses the shot of the Violet. He does get a follow-up little tap there into the shoulder, but it's not going to be the elimination that they so desperately need.
That cannot be a miss from Ons. That was for sure a frag on Divided. That would have been everything. Glads would have had the 5v4 unless Kilo responds. Shock would have been in a lot of trouble. And he's going to regret missing that one because it was set up for him easily. It was a perfect kill that Ons should have gotten.
I mean, even just there, Kilo not paying attention to the jump shot. Ons goes up over the top. He just doesn't connect into the head. He needs to start finding his groove again. It's another tap, but Kilo answers back in kind. He says, okay, you shot Finn in the chest. I'm going to shoot you in the head. Puts him down. Reiner taken out as well. And it's a good hold now for the side of the Shock. Just draining down the time bank half the time. Nearly gone.
You can see the difference in the damage output, but the frags go to Kilo, right? It's 84% to 52 from Kilo, so he's hitting shots. He is able to land damage, but these aren't resulting in final blows, whereas Kilo is getting final blows. Kilo is 10-2 in final blows versus Arns in terms of the total kills, not in the 1v1, obviously. Infrasight can be important here. Instantly dropped.
Yep. Pops it. Kilo aware of where he's at, wants to try to reposition, but obviously
Light lives again.
On's gonna know everywhere that he goes. Mikey diving into the back, does get antied out, does fall low. Discord Orb still through onto the Winston, pops the Primal Rage, trying to stay alive. beaten and battered. Playing lower and lower. They still do hold on to that nano, but there you go. That's the kind of shot that he needed. Violent going to be shut down 5% away from that Transcendence. But Mikey, nanoed up, dives into the back, managing to find Shu. Will be traded as Kevster and Reiner manage to dive together. They get on top of Finn. Proper low HP. The cap is going to be there. 4 minutes and 8 seconds now for the side of the Gladiators. Big opening kill there for Mons when they needed it.
Mike will get a kill here, so there's going to be a bit of a trade, but with Mikey staggered, this is important because Shot can't set up for defense until Mikey returns. By the way, Violet dies on about 98% to Trance. You cannot overstate how important that was from Arns. Talked about him going for Violet a number of times. He missed twice, but the third shot rings true, and the third shot, dare I say, was the most important one there as well because it prevents Violet from clutching with the Trance. If Violet doesn't die, then he trances, could be a very different fight.
Absolutely. They finally managed to get that hit. Like I said, it can just be the single shot, even if you're whiffing the whole way throughout. You get that one connection onto somebody who's got that ult ready to roll. That could be the difference maker. Getting the win. Infrasight up from Kilo. He's playing a little bit of a unexpected off angle here. Does get a tap on the side of Skewed, who's just going to be sitting in the corner now. Cart contested for the moment.
You also have a situation where the blades are available, but the nanos are not. The two snipers will barely miss each other there, and there it is. That very critical Venom Mine does save Kilo's life. We've seen him place it there before, and Arns will not get the connection on the player.
Oh, Mikey slept the headshot. What? He didn't hit it!
He dies.
He's still gonna kill.
He still dies.
Okay. Shu gets a kill, and Finn is out in the middle of nowhere. He's sitting in courtyard. Somehow this go down.
Skew tranced.
Cleanup comes through. Trance does come in from Skewed. I'm not sure quite what happened there. Maybe it was forced. Either way, the shot can at least be glad that is gone, but the cart is now rounding the final corner. Mikey nearby, ready to contest this. Holding onto the Transcendence of his own to try to wait and buy some time for the rest of the team to join in, but
they need Proper.
Gladiators could build up a very massive time bank here.
The Blade versus no Trance is huge, but Proper dies late, which means he's going to be late to the party here as well. Trance just to buy space. Now Proper has to win this fight now.
A little bit of time. The Nano now online from Shu. He's going to use it. Goes out to Kevster. He dives into the back, and as the Trance expires, Violet goes down. Proper just pull the blade himself. Finds odds. Can he get more value? The answer is going to be no, as both of these ults end up expiring. Mikey once more taken low, antied out, but he hugs back around the opposite side of the cart. Just trading places here against the Glad's members. He does stay alive for a little bit longer, but Reiner comes up with taking down the DPS members on the side of the Shock, but now needs to make his exit, jumps back over, grabs the Mega Pack. For now,
really important that he Proper in the back line. He got the supports down. Shu and Skew died in that fight, so Reiner couldn't stay in, and now Kevster could get... He could stagger it as well, but Mikey doesn't commit to the kill, so Kevster gets out alive. That's going to allow the Gladiators to regroup for another contest here. 1 minute 35. They have to play up against the mines. Nothing to clear the mines with. Reiner might have to drop a bubble on top of the mines just to get rid of some of them. And it is annoying for Reiner to have to do that if he does. Mikey's got good vision here. Great scouting.
Again, rolling down the minefield at the ready. Off angle.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh, okay. On's getting a melee kill on the Proper, and it is just an explosion of death as Mikey will be the last one to fall. The minefield beat down. It's not going to achieve anything as everybody else on his team dies around him. 2.5 minutes now for the final stretch on the side of the Gladiators.
Look at this. They're going to eat some mines for ult charge. Arns gets a further kill. We talk about Arns needing to come online. He was asleep for the first half of the game, but now he is certainly here getting a couple of really important kills. And staggering San Francisco Shock as well to prevent them from getting the setup on this C-point defense. 2 minutes to play through. Gladiators have an opportunity to get a better time bank than the Shock, but likely this one might go to OT as well.
Oh, Mikey is just getting beaten and battered. The bubble's down, looking to cut off that healing. Will be able to exit. A bit of a battery here for Finn to go ahead and try to build up towards that next nano where Shu is, nearly doubled his ult charge at the moment. Different sight going to be expiring. Ons now has his available. Pops it immediately. Starts sending his sights over towards a target. Sends one over towards Violet's shield. Finn low, finished off. Kevster gets on top of the Yana, finds that kill. Now Violet's going to be gone. Kevster cleaning them both up. Mikey, a little bit of HP, dead. And this could be massive for the Gladiators.
No ults. Shock don't have ults. Gladiators have 2 more available, including a blade, a nano blade as well. I don't know. They have to go now. Kilo has to go.
Okay, the slide in. He's going to be focus fired, though. Cleaned up the ball, trying to get there in time, but it's just not fast enough. And that is a massive gap between the two teams now. 2:24 for the Gladiators to just the 1 minute of the Shock. They weren't able to get much done on Gibraltar. They need to get some distance here on Dorado.
2 minutes 24 versus 1 minute. And I'm getting mad Gibraltar vibes here once again. Stay calm, breathe. Gladiators A minute and 24 seconds in the lead. This could be the map. San Francisco Shock, not out of it. A brilliant attack here off the back of Kilo, opening things up would be everything you need. But again, we go back towards that Arn's shot onto Violet on A that changes the entire game. Violet dies on 98, cannot trance, and the LA Gladiators begin marching through the rest of the map, including situations like this where Mikey's got the mines available, Skew takes down Violet, Arns gets a shot in the melee onto Proper, and it's just all player advantage from here. And because they basically don't have to use ultimates there, minus I think the Reiner Primal was used, Gladiators get to walk through on towards C, plenty of ultimates available. Infrasight allows them to delete some supports, full vision, where Shock don't know what Gladiators are doing. Gladiators know exactly where Shock is. They can set up perfect dives on the Finn and Violet. They get those 2 kills, Shock no response. And now this 1 minute is everything for the Shock. They have to get maximum distance. If Shock can cap A, they're still in the game.
So much pressure on these rookies. Violet needing to keep them level-headed in this moment. On's looking for the pop shot. Spots him. He and Kilo not going to be able to get the shots there, but Kilo gets a follow-up hit. Reiner taken down.
Big punish. How much distance now? What can Glads do? Can you re-engage it without Reiner available? It's really difficult to re-engage, and almost another kill there as well. Shu barely survives. Also not so lucky.
Kilo continues, he delivers once more. Mikey gonna be taking a nap, but there's no one to try to pressure him out without that Widow headshot. Mikey back alive. Finn taking the lead towards the nano charge. 41% for him. Shu just 11 behind. He's looking for the hit. He's looking for Kevster. Hasn't been able to finish him off yet. Something needs to happen quickly here from the side of the Gladiators if they want to hold this. They need to find a shutdown. OT now coming in. The dive into the back. They find Skewed. They get that elimination. On's up on top of the doorway, but needs to find some kills quickly for the team to play off. But Kilo gets another headshot. Takes him down. Kevster dead. And that is going to be your cart contest eliminated as Reiner's got nowhere left to go. No primal to play off of. And even if he did, he would have to hold it. Finn will find 2. And there is the cap that you were talking about. As long as they don't Shang 9 this, they can get some distance.
Oh no, Violet's too experienced for that. Surely he's going to stay on the payload the entire way through. The Gladiators have to get this next fight win. If they allow the snowball to come up through from the Shock, it'll be too much distance. They got to end this now, but Kilo opens up the Reiner. Reiner gets majorly punished, and that's probably the one member you can't afford to lose. They need this nano into primal.
They defeat the first map boss, which is getting the cart through the doorway without stepping away from it. Reiner diving into the back lines. Not too far off from the primal. Should be able to build it during this skirmish. Proper in the meantime. Spotting Reiner for a moment. Reiner antied out. Doesn't have the primal up yet, and Kilo gets him in the head as he tries to leap out to safety. Another massive opening here from the Shock's Widowmaker to get the second kill with Kevster taken down. Proper now rotating around the back. He sees the supports. He's playing off the Infrasight. He starts pressuring them out. Now
they can't get staggered. They can't get staggered.
Dashes over. They've got 2 players here. Ons gets a point-blank headshot to go ahead and shut down the Tracer, but he gives his life for it. Violet continues to just occupy the card, bring this further forward. The San Francisco Shock, an immense amount of distance, opened up now. Ult online for the Gladiators, and they need to gain control here shortly.
Nanoblade.
Kevster out. The blade pulled. Gets the deflect out. Finn taken down. He throws his own nano, but now Violet going to be carved up. The support's gone from the side of the Shock, and this could just be the resting place of the card. Ons will get 1. Proper, the last man standing now. Recalls out and knows that it is done and dusted. He tries to preserve his KD, I suppose. Makes his exit, but man, for a minute start, this is still fantastic from the side of the Shock.
Yeah, Gladiators cannot allow this much distance to come on through. With just 1 minute, this is more than enough. Far more than enough for the Gladiators to, or rather for the Shock to be able to put themselves in a winning position. 2:24 available from Gladiators. They would need to snowball exactly the same and even better. They have an extra minute and 24 to play through. Allows them a little bit more wiggle room for mistakes, but realistically, to push on through to nearly the end of B, it's going to be a guaranteed overtime regardless. So, Shock, they've really nailed that offense. An insane pick from Kilo onto Reiner to put them in a winning position. They really want that reverse sweep, and they currently got their hands on the driver's wheel. They do. They really do.
Take a look back at this. This is all the way back at the beginning here from Kilo. Misses that initial shot. Oh, slim margins. Reiner thinking that he was safe. Kilo says no.
No one can hide.
That shot into Reiner as well. Put him to critical.
Oh. It's just Kilo killing Reiner as he tries to exit, just denying him time and time again.
And again, he doesn't have Primal, so that's another very impactful kill. I mean, Kevster dying there, it doesn't really help, but Reiner being on 95 is another situation where the timing of the kill is everything there for Kilo. Because had Primal been there for Reiner, Glads might have been able to initiate an actual fight.
Well, now Ons put in a similar position, needing to find some impact with these shots. We saw it from him on Gibraltar. Can he do it now on this attack? Deliver a victory in this final to the side of the Gladiators. Kilo set the bar pretty damn high. See if Ons is up to task.
Archway now confirmed for the Gladiators. That's step number 1. Kilo on 35, Ons on 16. Looking for opportunity to find those opening shots again. These opening Widow picks make or break the series. Make or break this map. The extra 124 is what the Glads have. The only wiggle room for mistake that they can afford.
I'm just waiting, seeing if there's any forward presence being shown there. Sees Proper for just a moment, cannot get the kill. Violet under fire, but the Orb of Harmony comes in from Finn. They keep him alive, and it's 2 kills found for the Shock. Cart for now locked into position with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining to go. A little bit of rollback coming through as well.
Look at the notes. 71% for shoot. This is a win condition in the making. Kevster going towards the Tracer. Reiner will be the one receiving this nano to make space, and boy, do they need that space. 124 gold. We're down to 1 minute now. This is now equal territory. Glad's working with the same time the Shark had on their attack.
Dashing around the back, he spots the Widow there for just a second, falls low, tucks way in the corner, Anti goes out, Violet and Mikey both going to be clipped by that. Manage to disengage and stay safe, no kills to be found yet. Cart once more, pushing forward. Proper.
Nano's available.
Hunting for a target, receives the Discord Orb so they can track him now. He jumps into the back, he's looking to out-pressure Anzi, takes him low and he manages to get him in the end. The recall, back up the full HP. A massive pick-off here for the side of the San Francisco Shock. The nano used on the Reiner as well. He's in the back lines, but he doesn't have that primal rage. He gets cut down. Mikey managing to survive a sliver of HP for him, and with that HP bar, Finn can go ahead and get the Transcendence ready now by Helium. This should be
Can't afford to get staggered involved.
should have been done.
10 seconds. Kevster has to touch. He's the closest member. He's still alive, and the Glads are into the OT. Primal should be coming up this fight. Double support ultimates for the Shock. And Kilo has the infra sight. The next pick could decide everything.
The card touches there. They forced out the overtime, but now they have to stay glued to this. Infra sight nearly up for both of these Widowmakers. The Primal Rage now online for Reiner. Holding it. The rally through from Violet to start things off. On's dead. He tries to grapple away, but Proper chases forward, finds that kill. Kilo goes for the jump shot, not going to be able to get a connection. Reiner still holding on to the ultimate as long as he possibly can. Transcendence has been burned. Antied out, Mikey falling lower and lower, needs to get some heals, but Finn is going to be taken down. That cuts the healing down considerably. Kilo taken out, the Primal. They managed to cleave him down. It seems like the Gladiator's not going to be done yet. They do get the cap. There's still a chance.
They can't get off now for the rest of this offense. A couple more ultimates can still be there. Shu and Arns looking at them. Proper with the pulse bomb. Proper has been keeping a lid on Arns. He wants to get in on this Widow Duel. It's not just about Kilo versus Arns. Proper is getting on top of Arns now as well. So Gladiators have to be aware that there is a Tracer going for their sniper and they have to protect him. There are ultimates online for Gladiators. They can still snowball this one. San Francisco Shock have fully reset properly now. There has to be at least 2 to 3 more fight wins for the Gladiators to get this.
Yeah. They do at least have some ults to work with. The infra sight's still not being popped. On's now going to be using it, as I say. Pulse bomb goes in, though. Reiner going to be taken down. Now it's going to be on the supports and the DPS to stay stuck to this cart.
Gladiators need to trade.
They got it. Best right now is Proper. Will fall. Ons gets Violet. They get the kills. And suddenly it's just Kilo. The cleanup comes through. A massive amount of distance now for the Gladiators as they start pushing forward. The nano boost still held.
One more fight. Mikey has the minefield available. Violet deciding what he wants to go through. Lucio, Xander's got it. No, it's going back to Ana. San Francisco Shock can touch this one. Kilo going towards the Sojourn as well. This will be the final fight. A Shu nano available could go on to anybody.
Mikey.
This nano can decide.
Mikey. He's touch. He's gonna touch. They can't do it. Not like this. Unbelievable. The Shock, they set the stage. They get so close. One more map to try to tie it up, make it a 3-3, go for the 7th and final map, but they cannot do it. The pressure applied, Mikey is so low, he cannot touch. Proper does not arrive in time, and it is a catastrophe. Heartbreak for the side of the San Francisco Shock as their run in this grand final comes to a conclusion. It is not the great bout, the massive explosion of death, the battle that the Gladiators want to win to get themselves a victory. Is just a simple Cloud9 at the end of it all. The Gladiators take this series 4-2 in the end. They are your mid-season madness champions, and I cannot believe it.
What a way to end things out. This is Overwatch. This is Overwatch 2, I guess. So many C9s that we have seen, but it ends up being the biggest one in, I mean, considering the stakes. The final fight to take us maybe to a map 7 shot, looking for the reverse sweep. And there is not going to be a touch, but the LA Gladiators are going to go back to back, sent to the lower bracket. The players embracing, I mean, they all know what an insane game that was. Nearly a 4-0 at points as well, but it delivered. It really did deliver. And this is the Gladiator squad now that get to hang their heads high. And I mean, goodness, I mean, the 3-0 lead to start things out with a Shock nearly coming back. What a mid-season madness tournament.
A bit of a smorgasbord of a final. Everything, a little bit of everything included in this one. Incredible Widow plays from both sides. The near run back from the side of the Shock, trying to pull off the reverse sweep. And then the Cloud9 finish. Go ahead and have it handed over to the Gladiators. The Shock, obviously some smiles, hugs exchanged between the two teams who have been going back and forth across the room with their trash talk, but I think that this is going to be one that haunts them the whole plane ride back to the mainland.
Yeah.
Gladiators, though, they are going to be feeling pretty damn good, and one person in particular who's going to be feeling especially good about his performance the whole way throughout is our player of the match, which is Shu, who from the outset, getting that 3-0 lead, he was absolutely instrumental in it.
Instrumental the entire way across as well. So many impactful sleep darts, bio nades, the mechanics being shown here. Shu really is at the top of his game. A veteran that has been across a number of teams now, has championships under his belt, has now a back-to-back with the Gladiators here, has been with the system on Glads for some time. And again, we said at the beginning of this grand finals, is Shu the best flex support in the world? I think after this match, a resounding yes from me, 100%. This guy was on another level. This Pioneer connection as well, just everything Shu did was great.
I mean, plays it right off of Finn, hits proper, gets that kill. And I don't even know if you need to really add the kind of caveat, the asterisk of flex support. Why not just say best support in the world?
Sure.
I think that you absolutely can make that argument. This guy has continued to deliver it. And what, you know, while he doesn't have as many accolades as Violet on the opposite side of the arena, he's got one hell of a team around him this season. And yeah, he is racking them up now with these back-to-back tournament wins here at the start of 2022. Continues to look absolutely phenomenal.
And I'll tell you what, one thing as well is that you really have to also consider now, when you look across the board, the LA Gladiators, are they the best team so far this year? I gotta say it's a resounding yes so far for that as well. They are the best team in the world, proven in the Mid-Season Madness Tournament. They beat everybody. They lost to Shock in a winner's bracket game, but they come through the grand finals. They had an insane 3-0 lead. Props to all the players, but the coaching staff there is on. We've got to talk about stuff like Coach Pierre coming on through. This is a team that was leaderless right at the start of the year when, you know, Deepay departed. Face was thrust into the head coaching position, his first time as head coach. And back-to-back victories. You know, first go the head coach, he built this team along with Deepay. He specifically scouted Patapan and Skewed. Those are two of his pickups. And now he builds a coaching roster alongside him as well. The departure of Ty Dollar, he brings in Under, he brings in Smash from O2 Blast. And the three of them together, you know, Smash, Mullet, and Bold Man. I mean, he's bold because he's just got to make more space for his brains to fit. You know, he's just got such a big cranium. They get it, back-to-back, best team in the world.
Absolutely incredible, and yeah, I mean, a firm statement, and without a doubt without a doubt at all that they are the best in the world right now. They continue to deliver. They continue to look great. So a huge congratulations to the Gladiators across the board. I forget whether it was Johnny or Custa who kind of set it up and said, you know, I'm not going to be surprised if at the end of yesterday, after the loss, that they go back to the hotel and they manage to figure out, how the Shock is going to play, try to get those counter strats going on. And it was working at the very beginning of the series. They tripped up a little bit, but they managed to find their footing and close it out on Dorado, much to the chagrin of Shock and their fans. But what a final. This was looking like a complete and utter wash. You can't be anything other than happy that the Shock were able to rally back, get these wins on the board, and make it look like that reverse sweep was going to occur. I just wish that we had made it to that seventh and final map rather, in this series. But as if they didn't go through enough pain the first time around, we'll go ahead and take a look at it once more here to see exactly what had transpired at the end of that map. And it's just unfortunate.
It really is, and I would have loved to have seen what happens on the 7th map, which I think from the Gladiators POV probably would have been the Midtown. That was one of the key map picks from earlier on as well. But yeah, it's sort of the payload coming on through, right? It's you see a ball flying on in, but it's not Mikey, it's indeed Reiner instead. I do have to say though, despite it being, I think, a little bit of an upsetting ending for the San Francisco Shock, they have to be tons there from odds. You have to be at least a little bit, proud of the fact that they took this one to 6 maps, nearly 7. I think this one deserved to go to 7 as well. It does maybe hurt Proper's campaign slightly, but at the same time as well, he showed up big time over the course of the series. Was a player that was able to shut down Arns, played at minimum on Kevster's level. And the San Francisco Shock, I'm sure they're going to bounce back really, really strong for the Summer Showdown.
One can only hope. But guys, that's going to do it for myself and Avril. It's been absolutely wonderful to bring you guys this grand final, and congratulations, Avril, on your first ever international finals cast. An absolute pleasure to be here alongside you, but the broadcast might not be done, however, as we're going to throw down to Danny and Sean, who are standing by for a winner's interview in our trophy ceremony. So go ahead, take it away, Danny.
Avril and Ilios, thank you very much. I am here with the Midseason Madness Tournament champions, the Los Angeles Gladiators. Yeah! Now, before I talk to all of you guys, we also have another special guest. We have Sean Miller, the head of Overwatch League, who is here to congratulate our winners.
Thanks so much, Danny. Hello, Overwatch League, LA Gladiators. What an incredible week of matches, Danny and everybody. I mean, 6-day tournament, 12 teams, the biggest we've had in season. And by the way, 80% of maps that could have been played were played in this tournament. Just all bangers. And I want to just take a second as well before we present the trophy to thank the Overwatch League staff, all the teams that participated, as well as the University of Hawaii at Manoa, their staff, their students. Really, really incredible work to put this on. So now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Your 2022 Midseason Madness champions, the LA Gladiators. Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah! All right, interview time. All right, so I have a lot of questions, but let's start with Shi today. You were the player of the match, and you said that you had some stuff to say to the camera and all of our viewers who are watching this right now. So please say whatever you want to say. 자, 방금 오늘 일단 POTM도 먹고 오늘 굉장히 좋은 모습을 보여주셨는데 방금 저한테 형 저 이 말 진짜 하고 싶어요라고 하셨던 말 있잖아요. 이제 카메라 보시고 큰 목소리로 하시면 됩니다.
West better than East.
All right, can I please have Coach Smash? I have one question, Smash Coach. Coach Smash was the mastermind with the team right now, and I do wanna quickly ask you, because Gladiators, you guys had less than 24 hours to prep for this match, and yet you guys still dominated the San Francisco Shock. So I want the details. Like, what were the strategies involved for the finals match? 자, 일단 오늘 경기에 대해서 어떻게 보면 24시간도 안 된 어떻게 짧은 시간 안에 오늘 다시 또 센쇼과의 경기가 있었는데 굉장히 좋은 모습을 보여줬고, 좀 오늘 경기를 위해서 좀 전략적으로 좀 어떤 게 좀 있었나요?
일단 일리오스 고를 건 예상 못했고요. 그 다음에 아이엠발데 고를 건 알고 있었는데 자꾸 디바 들고 뒤에서 서만 있더라고요. 그래서 자리야 넣고 그냥 패면 이긴다 했더니 조합을 바꿨더라고요. 그래서 그 조합을 끌어낸 것 자체가, 저희는 사실 디바를 이길 방법이 없었거든요. 근데 그 조합을 이제 윈스턴으로 끌어낸 것 자체가, 아이엠발데를 저희가 이긴 것 자체가 이제 말도 안 되는.
All right, didn't really expect the Ilios pick, but we were very much expecting the Eichenwalde pick. And I knew that they were going to come out with a Diva pick, and you know we really didn't have an answer for it. But thankfully, the San Francisco Shock with the Diva, they really didn't do much, and the fact that we were able to get them out of the Diva competition, I think, was a very clutch moment. That was the strategy for the Los Angeles Gladiators. All right, Coach Smash, thank you so much. Sean, do you want to do?
I would love to ask Unter a question if you could step up. Unter, back-to-back champions for 2022. What do you think you've been able to do to instill in your players such a championship DNA?
I think we just taught them to talk shit a lot and to enjoy their games. I mean, every other roster in the league is mid, so it's kind of expected that we're going to win. Just make sure that they're having fun while they do it.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
All right, and last but not least, let's can I please have a Kevster? Hold the trophy. Yeah, I'm just gonna give you this mic and let you talk to all of your fans or whoever is watching our broadcast right now, because you were a standout player, I think, throughout the whole stage. So please.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all the fans. I think it shows that it helps us a lot, and I think we're really proven that we're the best team in the world now. It's kind of easy at this point, really. Yeah.
All right, round of applause, everybody. That is it from me and the Los Angeles Gladiators. Desk, take it away.
Thank you very much, Danny, and congratulations again to the LA Gladiators! I love Patty Pan in the back that entire time.
Why the tables? Why walk on those Precious University tables? They paid good money for those tables.
If you're gonna be the best, then you should stand above the rest. Oh!
Let's go, West Greater than the East, proven.
Absolutely.
What are you having in for it?
Let's go ahead and jump in talking about this series, though, because it almost looked like we were about to get the reverse sweep.
I had the silver scrapes up on my Spotify. I'm not gonna lie, I was waiting for it to happen, and I was like, reverse sweep is gonna happen. But unfortunately, it did not. But you know, the Gladiators coming out really strong in this series, winning that map on Eichenwalde sort of really did flip the whole thing on its head. Looked like the Shock would bring it back, but not in the end.
Yeah, I mean, do we just want to recap the whole thing? I mean, we're gonna be here for a while.
Do you want to talk about it?
I'll talk about the game.
Talk about the game.
I'll talk about the game.
Talk about it.
I mean, Ilios, I'm gonna be honest. Shock should have won Ilios.
Yeah.
They were very close to winning on the final third round on this map, had it not been for Gladiators clutching things up. Obviously, it was incredibly entertaining because the San Francisco Shock, they went for this Lucio Moira composition. They went super aggressive. We saw a lot of Lucio Sunbear engages, and they recognized early on that they had to set the tempo. They knew that Funny Astro was going to be fielded for the LA Gladiators, which naturally brings the speed boost. So, well, what can we do instead? Well, we speed up